Hello, guys. Welcome to another live stream. Hope you've all had a nice day. Now, as you'll probably know, if you've seen the promotion, the little promotion I've done, this is going to be a Stephen King themed special tonight. So, if you're a huge fan of Stephen King, I think you're going to enjoy this. So, we can really get some good, hearty discussions underway. Obviously all being like-minded Stephen King fans. There's so many things you can talk about the great man and all his work and that. So if you just bear with me, guys, I'll just sort of like get me bearings here with the StreamYard display. Just give me a tick. Just give me a tick. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. And while I'm on, I thought I'd start the show by showing you. We're saying in one of my posts, Stephen King's publishers, Hodder and Strutton. They've re-released all his novels in all striking, really striking, colourful covers. I've got two here actually. I ordered. The first one's Different Seasons. Just look at that cover, guys. Isn't that fantastic? And the other one is 4 Past Midnight. Great. They've done a really good job with these covers, guys. They really have. And there's the rest of the range there, yeah. So I'm going to be the ones I haven't actually got already in my collection. I'm going to get them first. And any well-worn paperbacks in my bookcase, I'm going to replace them as well with these new editions because I think they're absolutely fantastic. Yeah. All right then, guys. So we'll just get into the comments now. So let's see if we've got in tonight then. And we've got Walk On, Always Believe. You okay, mate? Watch it, Alan. I hope you're well and hope you've had a nice day. Yeah, I have. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I hope you have as well. Yeah. Great to be back again and doing a Stephen King themed special. Something I've always wanted to do. I've been a huge fan of Stephen King right from the 70s and that. I just love his work and that. So really made up. Okay. Brian's here. You okay, Brian? Hi, Alan. How are you? Hope you're well. Oh, I'm fine. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, hope you're well too. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, great to see you again. Martin McBurney. You okay, Martin? Hi, Alan. You okay? Yeah, good to have you along. Fazbear Brothers. Hi, Alan. Hope you're doing well. Oh, yeah, I'm great. Thanks, mate. Yeah, hope you are too. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. A busy absolutely snow. Hey man, I watched in Halloween Ends the Michael Myers in the trailer. Isn't the real Michael? The real one only pops up in the final part of the film, but he does meet his end. Thanks to Laurie. Oh right, yeah. I wasn't too keen on that last one, that Halloween Kills. I wasn't too keen on that at all. Busy absolutely snow. Hope you are well, Alan. Yeah, I'm great. Thanks. Hope you are too. Richard Brown says, great book, Different Seasons. Oh, yeah. I love Different Seasons. Yeah. And as I say, these are fantastic. The way Hodder and Strutton have done these reissues of Stephen King's work, they've done a fantastic job with them. They really have. And as I say, there's all the others there as well, So I will be definitely getting a lot of those. Yeah. The very first Stephen King book, if any of you would like to know what was the very first Stephen King book I ever read, and that was Carrie, which of course was his first novel, So I remember renting that from a local library and that, and really enjoying it. And then of course you had the movie with Sissy Spacek. I enjoyed that too, and I also enjoyed the remake as well, which a lot of people have got mixed feelings about. Haven't they, the remake? Some like it and some hate it, but I thought it was very good. Yeah. He created a real iconic character there in Carrie White, didn't he, guys? Screen stars, even and all. You okay? Thanks for dropping by. Rock and roll hell. Evening, young man. Oh, thank you. You took 20 years off my age there. You okay? Thanks for dropping by. Rock and roll. Careful with the Halloween spoilers. We don't watch ultra. Oh, yeah. No spoilers, please, guys. Yeah, don't give anything away. Walk On, Always Believe. Glad you're well, Alan. I'm okay, thank you. Looking forward to the horror chat. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I love coming on here, every Thursday and chatting to you guys. I really enjoy it, And as I say, Stephen King and that, I thought that would be an ideal subject because he's got the amount of the fan base he's got is just it's just beyond belief, Martin is saying, have you watched Doctor Sleep? Great sequel to The Shining. Yeah, I did watch Doctor Sleep, and I don't know. It was a bit of a disappointment to me. You know, I'm thinking about revisiting again sometime. But yeah, I just didn't find Rose the Hat a very, very terrifying villain. You know, and also the book as well. You know, but I am going to give both. I'm going to revisit both in that. And you know, sometimes when you revisit a movie or a book again, you like it a bit better. So I'll do that. Anyway, Doctor Sleep now it's going quite cheap on Blu-ray and Blu-ray and that. So I might revisit that. Baz Bear Brothers, did you like Salem's Lot? Do you know Salem's Lot is my all-time favorite Stephen King novel? I absolutely love that story. It's got everything in a horror novel that I love. It's got a very, very creepy vampire in the form of Barlow. It's got like a great setting, you know, the town of Salem's Lot and that. And it's got a great atmosphere. And it's very, very reminiscent of Dracula. You know, one of my all-time favorite horror novels. I think Stephen King did a magnificent job with that Salem's Lot. And I loved the 79 TV series as well. You know, with David Soul and James Mason. Absolutely love that. I don't think that's ever been bettered. You know, and this one, the one that they're doing now, I don't know about that. I'm not really holding my breath for that, to be honest. I'll just see how you know how that pans out and that. So yeah, I'm just going to play that by ear really. But I don't think anything can beat the 1979, you know, the David Soul. Salem's Lot. Yeah, I've got that on Blu-ray. Watched it many times, and I always enjoy it. The two creepy scenes in that for me, with the the boy called Danny Glick. I think it was Danny Glick. He's banging on the window, isn't he? He's floating up in the air, and he's banging on the window to be let in. Oh, that's really creepy. That, and the part where the guy's in the rocking chair and he's a vampire and he just sees shadowy form rocking back and forth and his eyes glowing. Oh yeah, two fantastic moments in horror. You know, in horror history, those. Busy, absolutely snow. Yeah, Alan, it turns out to be Michael Matt. Yeah, well, we don't want any spoilers. Thanks. Walk on, always believe. I just had a look at Stephen King's film list. I've only seen 11. Oh, right. He's done a couple of TV series as well, hasn't he? Like the likes of Rose Red, you know, and that one, Nightmares and Dreamscapes. Yeah. Some of them, I must admit, some of them are a bit of a hit and miss. You know, obviously you think of the greats like Carrie, Salem's, excuse me, Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Shining, Pet Sematary, Misery. They're my favourites, but there was quite a few bad ones as well. But and some of his short stories as well. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Some of his short stories are actually better than some of his novels. You know, yeah, especially The Man in the Black Suit. That's a really creepy one. That where the boys fishing in the woods and that, and this fella encounters this mysterious figure, and it turns out to be the devil. You know, that's a great one. That, and The Boogeyman, where the psychiatrist, this fella goes to see the psychiatrist and that. And the psychiatrist turns out to be the bogeyman, you know, wearing a mask. Yeah, and I love The Raft as well. That's great. That was in one of the creep shows, wasn't it? The Raft. Yeah, I love The Raft. Melanie Gilson's here. Are you okay, Melanie? Hi, Alan. What's your favorite Stephen King adaptation? I love Salem's Lot and The Shining. Yeah, I love them as well, and I also love Misery. So my top Stephen King movie adaptations are The Shining, Salem's Lot, Misery, Carrie, and Pet Sematary. I like Christine as well. That's a great one, Christine. Yeah. If you watch me, last video, what I uploaded yesterday, you'll see me 4K, me Stephen King 4K collection, and those movies are there. You know, yeah, absolutely love them. I do like It as well, but the only thing with It, I didn't like the ending. I'm not going to reveal the ending if any of you's like you know, haven't seen it, but the ending was a bit of a letdown. But I thought Pennywise was a real demonic, a creepy creature, you know, a shape-shifting demon, and that, you know, kept coming back every 27 years and that, you know, and the way that the kids sort of like, they form this pact, don't they, to sort of like return and fight him and that. Yeah, it was a really good premise, that. Busy, absolutely snow. Does you? Oh, here we go. The nutcases are in. Bear with me, guys. I can't stand people like this. I really can't. They must really, you know what? They must, I've said this before, they must lead some pretty sad lives and that, you know, to sort of like gate crash people with disgusting language, which I always hate. Walk on, always believe. Alan, busy, absolutely snow is spoiling films. Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out for him. Rock and roll hell. Yeah, move on. Busy, absolutely snow. Get a hobby. Yeah. You okay, Edward? Edward's saying, what's your favourite Stephen King movie? Well, I've got a couple of joint favourites, really. I love Salem's Lot, Pet Sematary, Misery, Carrie, The Shining, and that. So, yeah, it's very, very... But if it was pushed, Edward, to name one particular all-time favourite Stephen King movie, I would have to say Salem's Lot. Yeah, closely followed by The Shining. Yeah, so it'd be those two. It would be that one, Salem's Lot, and The Shining, and then Misery, Pet Sematary, Christine, you know. But oh yeah, fabulous stories. I absolutely love them. David Price is here. You okay, David? Thanks for dropping by, mate. Good evening, Alan. Made it to your live stream at last. Yeah, it's great to have you along here, David. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, mate. Walk on, always believe. Busy, absolutely snow. Go away and grow up. Show Alan and the decent people in the chat some respect. Here, push off. We don't want nutcases in my stream. Chestnut 7, evening, Alan and everyone. Dr. Impossible, Alan, you need to make some people on here mod. You're getting spam. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Yeah, they're bloody nuisances, aren't they? I hate to see that. I hate to see these characters on it, other people's live streams as well. It's very, very irritating. Rock and roll hell might need to make someone a mod. Yes, indeed. Brian Gilson, do you like Silver Bullet? It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's okay. It's an okay werewolf movie, Silver Bullets. Yeah. Busy, absolutely. Oh, no. We don't want you. Sorry about this, guys. These spoilers are a damn nuisance. They really are. Edward's saying, evening, Alan, hope you're well. What's your thoughts on Under the Dome and Stand By Me from Stephen King? Well, Under the Dome, I wasn't too keen on, Edward. Very, very chunky book and a lot of characters in it. Not one of my favourite Stephen King novels, and I didn't like the premise with the... well, I won't give away, again, if there's anybody on here that hasn't seen it, I won't give away the ending. I didn't like the ending. Like I didn't like the ending of that. And Stand By Me, yeah, it's years since I saw that. Yeah, I might have to revisit that. Yeah, because it didn't stick in my mind as a particularly memorable Stephen King adaptation. But they had the short stories. It's the body, isn't it? Yeah, but I'll have to revisit that at some point. Yeah, mostly like kids, isn't it? Going on a sort of like a trek into the woods and that. Yeah, that's what I've noticed about Stephen King. Although I love him as an author, he does put a lot of kids into his movies, doesn't he? You know, sometimes quite a few actually in that, you know. But I have noticed that, and other people have noticed that as well. He does put a lot of kids into his movies. You know. David Klein. You okay, David? Hi, Alan. What's your thoughts on Needful Things? I like Needful Things. Yeah. Leyland Gaunt. Yeah, it played brilliantly in the movie by Max von Sydow, who played the priest in The Exorcist. Yeah. It reminds me of David. It reminds me of the movie, you know, Peter Cushing from Beyond the Grave, where he was a proprietor of a shop and that. But of course, it's a whole different story, isn't it? You know, with Leyland Gaunt and that. Yeah, I quite like Needful Things, and I'll have to get the latest. Well, you know, as I say, these have been reissued on the new covers and that. I'll have to get the new edition of Needful Things, because the one I had was red, and ended up thrown out because it became that tatty, you know. But I'll have to replenish me Stephen King stock with their Needful Things. Chestnut 7, it was for me. All right. Pete's here. You okay, Pete? Thanks for coming along, mate. Hey, Alan. Hope you are well, mate. Oh yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Pete. I hope you are as well. Yeah. As I say, thanks for dropping by. Yeah, nice to see you again. Thomas Pearson, evening, Alan. Have a great stream. Oh, thanks very much, Thomas. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, mate. Yeah, cheers, mate. Martin McBurney. Sometimes they come back. Very underrated Stephen King movie. I like that one. Yeah, it's good, that one, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. It's he's like a school teacher, isn't he? And it isn't one of the gang of bullies, you know, terrorizing a couple of the lads in the school and that. And he come back from the dead, don't they? Yeah, yeah. It's quite a few years since I watched it and that and read the story, but I do remember them coming back from the dead and that. And aren't they in? Isn't there one scene where they're in like a sort of like a subway? Yeah, they made two more, didn't he? Sometimes they come back for more, and then I think they made, I forget the title of the third one, but yeah, it's a great story that. Chestnut 7 is saying Misery is a very good film. I would certainly second that. I absolutely love Misery. You know, Kathy Bates was really on the money playing the you know, the screwed up Annie Wilkes, wasn't she? And I love James Caan as well, you know, in the role as the author and that, you know, Paul Sheldon. Yeah, that's a great one, that Misery. It really is. Yeah. Oh, fantastic performances all around. Yeah, fantastic story. Very, very gripping as well. And you know what? If you've read the book, you know how more graphic, even more graphic the book is than the movie. I mean, the movie was terrifying enough, but the book, whew, gosh. Pete's saying The Shining is great. The extended cut is best. Still need to see Dr. Sleep. Yeah. Which version would you recommend? Theatrical or director's cut? Well, whenever I get a movie piece, I always make sure I watch the one that hasn't been cut. So I would recommend the one, you know, that hasn't been cut, which I presume is the director's cut. Yeah. So I'd always recommend, you know, the one that hasn't been cut. Yeah. Because one thing I can't stand, you know, with some of these movies where they cut scenes out and that, you know, and what they might do sometimes, they might cut certain scenes out and then just stick them in the extras and that, you know, it's like supplements and that. I hate that, you know, really do. And then you might get two versions, or you know, on the one disc and that, you know, or on a separate disc. Yeah. Melanie Gilson saying Pet Sematary, it still creeps me out after all these years. What do you think of the remake? I did not like the remake. I absolutely hated it. I hated it, Mel. I really did. Yeah, I love the original one with Fred Gwynn in. You know, that's a fantastic one. That really is, and that, yeah, and really, it's quite at times it's quite a sad movie. You know, like Gage getting knocked over and that, and of course the cast and that. But God, it doesn't half go creepy, doesn't it? As the movie goes on and that, you know, all revolving around this Micmac Indian burial ground and that. Yeah, oh yeah, and the ending, the ending in both the movie and the novel. Gosh, talk about horror. Walk On Always Believe is saying the Stephen King flicks I've seen are excuse me, Shining, Carrie, Mist, Misery, Stand By Me, Christine, Pet Sematary, Green Mile, Running Man, Carrie remake, and The Night Flyer. The Night Flyer is not a bad one. That's the one with the vampire, isn't it? In the airport. Yeah, not a bad one, that. Some good choices there. Halloween ends with Michael's body moving again. Oh no, here we go again. No spoilers. The nuisances, honest to God, you know, these spoilers, they're bloody nuisances they are. For anybody who hasn't seen the movie and that, you know, well, it just enrages you, doesn't it? You know, it's like I've said this before. Sometimes when you know, when you get a Blu-ray or a DVD and you put it into your machine and that, and you know, before the movie starts, they show you after bloody movie what's going to, you know, or after bloody incident, what's going to happen in the movie. You know, you might be trying to adjust the subtitles, you might be trying to adjust the audio, and then while you're doing that, while you're fiddling around with the you know, the modes and that, the default settings, you can change them and that. They're showing you off the bloody movie and montages and that. Oh, I hate that. I've got to turn the volume down, turn the face away from the screen. Yeah, I wish they stopped doing that. They do it the same thing with TV shows as well. They show you coming up next, and they show you all what's going to be in the bloody show. I wish they'd bloody desist from that. So is any TV producers watching, stop that, cut it out. Just get on with the bloody show, for goodness sake. Don't show the whole bloody 2-hour show in a space of bloody three minutes. One of the most irritating things, that is. Right, rants over. Brian Gilson saying, my mum and nephew loved your paranormal stream. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, I enjoyed doing it. I'm going to do another one in a few weeks because I love talking about ghost stories and that. It would be great if you could do another, another paranormal stream for Halloween. Yeah, very much on the agenda. Yeah. So, I'm definitely going to do another paranormal show, or maybe one after that as well. Because I say, with being a writer as well, I'll publish my own books on true ghost stories and a couple of volumes of my horror fiction. That is definitely uppermost in my mind to do another, live stream, a paranormal special. Yeah, definitely. Walk on always believe is saying, I have seen Shining a few times. I wasn't a fan. Oh, right. But I love the Shining mini-series with the great Rebecca De Mornay. That's good, that. Yeah, I like that. I'll give the Shining film another rewatch to see if I end up liking it. Oh, yeah. There's not many people, I bet, that said he didn't like the Shining, Stanley Kubrick. Yeah. I think what irked some people was the fact that, Jack Torrance's character, played by Jack Nicholson, in the Kubrick movie, when they're going to the Overlook, he's already a bit dotty, isn't he? But whereas in the novel, I said this before, in the novel, Torrance, he's all right at first, but he's got an alcohol problem, but he's okay. He's pretty level-headed. But once he gets into the hotel and sets up residence for the winter, he starts going a bit doolally and that, and of course he goes worse and worse, doesn't he? As the story goes on. But yeah, a lot of people didn't like that. With Nicholson playing the character already a bit screwy to begin with, and that, yeah. But I love the movie. David Price, okay, David Mace. You are very welcome, Macy. I have checked out my room this Halloween to a Hammer horror theme room. Good on you, Mace. Good on you. Have you seen the film Nightmare? Have you seen the film Nightmares? I love Salem's Lot, 1979, and Carrie, 1976. Film Nightmares. I've seen a couple movies with Nightmare in the title. I don't know which one. Could you elaborate on that, Dave? Because I'm not too sure what you mean by nightmares. You don't mean nightmares and dreamscapes, do you? That was a mini series, wasn't it, with Stephen King? Yeah. So if you could elucidate on that, I'll try and answer your question, mate. Right. Walk on always believe is saying, Misery, in my opinion, is the greatest horror thriller of all time. I would certainly go along with you there. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I would rank it right up there with Psycho, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, movies like that. Absolutely fantastic. And the performance that Kathy Bates pulled off in that movie was absolutely phenomenal. It really was. She really got into the character of Annie Wilkes, didn't she? And you know what I liked about it? You didn't know, if Paul was going to get away. You're on the edge of your seat, and that, it was a little bit like have you seen The Collector with Terence Stamp? That was like a kidnap movie in that. It was basically like The Collector in reverse. But in The Collector, the Terence Stamp movie, it's the man that kidnaps the woman and holds her in the house. But of course, in Misery, it's the woman that kidnaps. Well, she helps him at first, doesn't she? Tends to his injuries and that. But she ends up keeping him hostage in the house. Yeah. But some of those kidnap movies are very, very gripping and that, but Misery is definitely right up there, as I say, with all the classics. And the movie and the book I've read countless times, and every time I go back to it, I always enjoy it. And I say it's even more graphic than the actual movie. If you read the novel Misery, you know what I mean. Poof. Right. I'm watching out for spoilers, guys. So if I hesitate a couple of seconds, yeah, we don't really want to know about this, all this nonsense, do we? So, zap, and he's gone. Where are we? Yeah, they are nuisances, these people coming here and spoiling movies and that, along with the foul-mouthed trolls and that. Both anathemas to me. I hate them. As I said, they must have sad lives. They must be sitting on their backsides and that, what can we do? Oh, I know, we'll go on somebody's live stream and ruin it now. Yeah, well, you're not bloody ruining this one, so clear off. Could have used much worse words, but just check yourself in time. Okay, on to the comments. Martin McBurney, At Pupil, a very good movie with Ian McKellen playing a Nazi being blackmailed by the kid who lives next door. Great movie. Yeah, that's in one of these volumes here. One of these Stephen King. I think it's the different seasons at Pupil. Yeah, it's in here at Pupil. Yeah, it's in this book here. Yeah. I don't think I've seen the movie right through at Pupil, but I love the story. You know, fantastic. Yeah, I'll have to get round to seeing the movie. Fazbear Brothers. I hate it when someone spoils a film. It just ruins it for everyone. Same here, mate. Yeah, I hate it as well. You know, somebody tells you the ending and that, or what they're going to do next, and that you say, "Oh, clear off, shut up, shut your gob." Right. Edward says, "What's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on it and It Chapter 2? You mean the new one, what they made a couple of years ago?" Well, the first one was okay. It was okay. Chapter 2, I did not care for that at all. You know what spoke that for me? Chapter 2, I didn't like the comedic things they were coming out with and that, you know, when they all got together as adults and that, they weren't very serious and that. And I didn't like the reliance on CGI, you know, I didn't like the special effects. I think they were a bit overdone, you know. So who knows, at some point in the future, I might revisit it, revisit both movies and that, but I don't think, while the first one was okay, I don't think it was a great movie. It was okay. The Chapter 2 was a bit of a car crash for me. Yeah, but obviously, if I watch Chapter 1 again, I'm going to watch Chapter 2, aren't I? Despite its faults, because it's going cheap now anyway. And that, I mean, you can get in shops like HMV, you know, 2 for 13 and that, and you've got nice slip covers as well. So yeah, I might be tempted to revisit them. But I did like I did prefer the Tim Curry one. You know, the TV series. I thought he'd done a good job. You know, portraying Pennywise and that. You know, yeah. One of the most creepiest characters in horror fiction, Pennywise. And you know, I don't know if you know this story, guys, but I was watching a Stephen King interview the other night, and he broached the subject about it and that, and he said, you know what? He said, when I wrote that book, he said, I got a lot of letters from clowns saying, you know, you give us a bit of a bad image and that. Yeah. Stephen King told the story himself on that. Yeah, he got quite a few letters from real circus clowns and that, you know, say you sort of like give us a bad image and that. But he said, I only write the stories, just like he got a bit of stick for The Stand. He said, oh, you predicted COVID-19 with that bloody Stand book. I only wrote it. I wrote it in was it 1978? You know, and he got accused of it. Well, not in so many words, but they gave that impression that they accused him of predicting COVID-19 and that. You know, oh God, some of these authors, the people, you know, the things what some people say to them. Walk on, always believe is saying, Alan, with all due respect, I really think you need women moderators. I've reported the channels, right? I've reported the channels. So when you say you've reported the channels, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean you've reported the ones that causing the havoc? I presume that's what you mean. Yeah, they're bloody nuisances, those trolls. I hate them. Melanie Gilson saying, looking forward to your next paranormal stream. My fam said it was great last week. Oh, thanks very much, Mel. Yeah, appreciate it. Sorry I missed this. I was away on holiday. I love the paranormal. I love Halloween. Same here, Mel. Yeah. All my family as well. Well, most of my family love the paranormal, you know, and of course we've had experiences ourselves and that over the years and that, you know, different things happening and that. Oh yeah, and that's why I wrote books on ghost stories and that, you know, published me books on Amazon about true ghost stories and that. So oh yeah, it's always, I think it's endlessly fascinating, the paranormal. And I love reading about all these haunted buildings as well, you know. Oh, fantastic. And like the what's the name, Borley Rectory, places like that, you know. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And all these old churches and that, and all these old castles and that, you know, Jamaica Inn, or places like that, haunted. Bodmin Moor. Oh yeah. Oh, there's loads all over the world, isn't there? Yeah. The Myrtle Plantation. Anybody heard of the Myrtle Plantation? That's very, very haunted. And oh yeah, and the Winchester Mystery House, that featured a lot in the American paranormal documentaries. Yeah, in the noughties. Yeah, the Winchester Mystery House. Yeah, it's got so many rooms, hasn't it? Yeah, fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Love anything like that. Right. Oh no, we don't want this. Spoilers are blocked. Walk on Always Believers saying, I'll be watching Salem's Lot for the first time in this October. Yeah, I know one scene, but I'm not sure if it's from Salem's Lot. The scene with a guy in the chair saying, "Look at me." Is that from Salem's Lot? I presume that the rocking chair where he's rocking up and down, isn't it? He's the grave digger. Yeah, I forget what he says, but I think that's a scene what you're referring to. He's like in the darkness and he's rocking up and down. His eyes are glowing and you can see his fangs and that. Oh yeah, that's a great one. That I think that's a scene what you're referring to. Yeah, the guy who played him, he's been in loads of movies. I forget his name, but he did a great job in that. He really did. David Soul was really on the money as the main protagonist. By the way, Stephen King aside for the moment, I've been watching the, Rod Serling's Night Gallery. I was watching season 2, a couple more episodes last night, and I watched a great one. Do you know Bill Bixby used to play the Incredible Hulk? He was in a great episode there involving this he bought this a big idol from a curio shop, and he put it in his garden, and it's supposed to be cursed and that. And you had what's the name in it, Carol Lindley and Donna Douglas from the Beverly Hillbillies, but I won't disclose what happens in it. Oh, it's a real creepy story, that. Yeah, I love those kind of stories where they go to a shop and buy an object and it's cursed and that. Oh yeah, it's a very good episode. That really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen Night Gallery, guys, I highly recommend that you check it out. Season 3 is coming out on Blu-ray in I think it's December, so I'll be completing my trilogy. Forget that. Right. Excuse me. AJ's Movie Place, just loading my review for Chucky Season 2, Episode 1, right? David saying Nightmares was a 4-part horror story film from 1983. A 4-part horror story film. So I presume it wasn't like separate stories, it was all one story split into 4 parts. I haven't seen that one, Dave. Brian Gilson saying, have you seen Heart of Atlantis, a Stephen King film? Anthony Hopkins, no, I haven't seen it. I did read the going back to the was it the late 80s, early 90s? I had the book with, I think it's 4 stories in it, but they weren't horror. So I think I only got as far as the middle of the first story, and I cast it aside because I like it. I prefer it when he writes his horror and that. Yeah, so I didn't bother renting that out or buying it. Heart of Atlantis. Martin saying, let's not forget Stand By Me is a Stephen King story. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's, as I say, it's in this book here. Different seasons. It's known as the Body. Yeah. It sees 4 young boys venture into the woods and find life, death, and the end of innocence. Yeah. So yes, as I say, it's in this volume. Different seasons. Yeah. This is a great one as well, guys. 4 Past Midnight. That's some great stories in that as well. Well, the novellas actually. You've got 1 Past Midnight, The Langoliers, about the airplane. You've got 2 Past Midnight, Secret Window, Secret Garden. I've got the movie of that. 3 Past Midnight, The Library Policeman, and 4 Past Midnight, The Sundog. Yeah. Stephen King is a master storyteller, and you will never forget these stories. I'd certainly second that. That's a great one. That if you haven't got this in your Stephen King collection, I highly recommend that you get yourself a copy. Yeah. So there you go. Right, Fazbear Brothers. Any thoughts on the Tommyknockers? I didn't like it. Do you know, that was one of the worst Stephen King stories I've ever read in my whole life. I just could not get into it at all. But granted, to be fair, it started promising enough, with the spaceship in the ground and that. But then as the story unfolded, I started to lose interest, unfortunately. So I didn't finish it. And that, it's not one of my favorites. Stephen King stories of Tommyknockers. I know a lot of Stephen King fans don't rate that very highly. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't like the Tommyknockers. There has been a couple, I say, as well as writing some brilliant books like Carrie, Christine, Salem's Lot. There has been a couple of turkeys from time to time. Well, of course, you can't get everything right all the time, can you? And that, but yeah, there has been a couple of ones I haven't been too keen on. Right, okay. On to the next comments. Vince N. Evening, Al. You okay, Vince? Love Stephen King. Been reading his books since the 80s. Yeah. Favorite has to be The Dead Zone. Yeah. Christopher Walken is amazing in it. Yeah, I've only seen that once, Vince. Yeah, it's a good film. Yeah, I like the book as well. Yeah, yeah, more of a kind of a psychological thriller, isn't it, than all house horror? But yeah, I like the Dead Zone. That's to get that on Blu-ray. This pesky guy, I can't get rid of him at all. Giving away the spoilers. Right. Walk On Always Believe is saying, I wouldn't want to see any Misery remade. I wouldn't want to see any Misery. I bet they'd make a bloody mess of it if they remade it, like they've made a mess of a lot of these horror movies and that. Yeah. But having said that, if it was to be remade, I'll be open to see a darker adaptation from the classic book. But Misery 1991 will be unbeaten. It's perfect. It's a perfect movie. I love Misery. I've got the Scream Factory edition of Misery. Great special features and that. And as I say, Kathy Bates. Oh, she was really on the money in that, wasn't she? Playing the sinister, demented Annie Wilkes and that. You know, Misery Chastain Cannot Be Dead. Yeah. Oh God, that is a film and a half. That I tell you. David Price is saying, have you seen the Haunting of Hill House series, Alan? I have, yeah. I had it on DVD, but I couldn't get into it. David, I couldn't get into it at all. I didn't like the jump cuts and that, you know, those bloody jump cuts, the montages and that, going from, you know, going back and coming forward, going back and going forward. This seems to be a trend now. I mean, I'm not being funny, like, but some of these producers, they can't seem to make a straightforward linear movie. And by linear, I mean, tell a story as it unfolds, not keep jumping backwards and forwards and confusing the bloody hell out the reader. I hate that. The viewer, they even do it in books as well, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I'm not a great fan of flashbacks anyway, you know, in a movie or a book. I think if you're going to put a flashback in a book or a movie, you've got to do it well. Otherwise, it's just crap, you know. But yeah, I hated that. But they made another one, haven't they? The Haunting of Bly Manor or Blythe Manor. I was thinking about giving that a whirl, but again, you know, I'm not really I haven't really got any great hopes for that either, because if it's anything like The Haunting of Hill House, I think I'll pass. But I love the excuse me, I love the movie, the original movie, The Haunting, and that with Richard Johnson in. That's a big favourite of mine, guys. Yeah, I spoke about it many times on this channel. I absolutely love that movie. I think I thought you know, I think it was just oozing atmosphere, you know, and it had that ambiguity of you know, the main protagonist and that, you know, she had like psychological problems, and that sort of tied in with the house and that, the evil in the house and that. Oh yeah, I think Shirley Jackson done a brilliant job with that story. Right, on to the next comment. Mel's saying, yeah, Winchester House is fascinating. Have you seen the film? It's quite good. Do you mean the one that was made a couple of years ago with was it Helen Mirren? Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that one, Mel. But I suppose it's one of those. I suppose it's one of those Marmite movies, isn't it? You either like it or you loathe it. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that. Missed opportunity, I thought. But everybody's got their own opinion, haven't they? Chestnut 7 is saying, love the Green Mile, brilliance. Yeah, Tom Hanks, yeah. More of a psychological drama, wasn't it, a horror? But yeah, very popular movie, that. And obviously the book as well, which of course was a series of books, wasn't it? But then he put them all into one big book, didn't he? Stephen King, yeah. Walk On Always Believe. I've not seen Salem's Lot, but the guy in the chair is the father of Juliette Lewis, the actress, right? Seen him many times, as I say, but I always forget his name, you know. Yeah, he's been in loads of movies and TV shows and that. But yeah, I say some of the Stephen King stories are absolute classics, you know, they really are. Brian Gilson, I love the Langoliers. It's a great 2-part series. Yeah, that's the one with the airplane, isn't it? Yeah. That's in this one. 4 Past Midnight. Yeah, or the Langoliers. Yeah, follows a red eye flight from LA to Boston into a most unfriendly sky. Yeah, very Twilight Zone, isn't it, that episode? Yeah. Are there any Stephen King movies, guys, what you hate, you really rank really down at the bottom? Feel free to, to discuss, yeah? Everybody's got their favorites, haven't they? Everybody's got the ones they don't like, yeah? So, yeah, any particular Stephen King, what you think is the worst ever? Yeah, yes, as I say, please feel free to let me know, of course, your all-time favorite Stephen King book and movie, yeah? Yeah, just get the comments rolling in, guys, yeah? I'm enjoying it. I'll tell you what I would like. I'd love somebody to write a definitive volume on every aspect of Stephen King's life and work and that. I know there's one or two on I know there's one or two on Amazon, but I don't think they really cover every single thing, every single aspect of his life and that. But I have seen one or two. But I'd love someone to really do a definitive encyclopedia of Stephen King. Whether one exists anywhere in the world, I don't know. So if any of you guys know, please, let me know. Yeah. Just waiting for some more comments, guys. So if you watched any good Stephen King movies yourselves, yeah, again, discuss, let me know. I'll tell you what's a good Stephen King short story. It's a bit of a weird one. Chattery Teeth. This again involving a shop, a curio store. For what I can remember, this fella goes into the store. I think he actually buys the teeth, and he come alive when I'm not sure if he's driving along in the car or not, and he come alive in the car and starts attacking him and his wife. That's a good one, Chattery Teeth. I think that was in Nightmares and Dreamscapes, if my memory serves me correctly. Right. Get some comments, guys. I'm getting the nutcases in again, guys. Chestnut 7. I saw a Stephen King movie book in a charity shop 2 days ago. I didn't get it. Wished I had later. Yeah. Pete's saying the Dead Zone had a pretty decent TV series as well. I haven't seen the TV series, Pete. Yeah, I'll have to get round to watching that. But I love the movie, yeah, and the book as well. Walk On Always Believe is saying, what film from Stephen King's stories would you say is the most underrated? I think I'd pick Night Flyer. What film from Stephen King's stories would you say is the most underrated? I think I'd pick Night Flyer. Yeah, it's not a bad movie, Night Flyer. I'm just trying to think now, most underrated. I'm not very good with these underrated, overrated questions, but I'll have a little bit of a cogitation and see if I can one springs to mind. Underrated. Well, I watched a couple of years ago. I did watch Rose Red. I had it on DVD. Yeah, it's okay. It's not a great haunted house movie, but it's watchable. Yeah, so I haven't really heard many people speaking about that. So maybe you could class that as maybe a little bit being underrated. Yeah, Rose Red. I'm just trying to think of any more underrated. No, can't think of any at the moment, but of course, if any spring to mind, I'll voice them. Right, just trying to avoid these trolls, guys. Bloody nutcases, whoever they are. Right. As I say, you think he'd have something better to do with their sad lives, wasn't he? They're most probably losers, and he got nothing else to do. Right. Walk On Always Believe is saying, I'd love to talk about some scenes from the Stephen King flicks, but I wouldn't want to spoil them for those who haven't seen them yet. Yeah, take your points. Yeah. Melanie says, I love Stephen King. Wouldn't say hated it, but not a fan of The Stand. Yeah, a lot of people don't like The Stand, dude. It's one of those Marmite stories. Yeah, I quite liked it. Yeah, it was pretty enjoyable. I did have the when he first wrote that book, there was more words in it, so many more thousand words than that. It was the uncut version. I did get the uncut version, but I couldn't get into that at all. I've got the original one. Hang on, I'll just get off the shelf, guys. Just bear with me. The one I've read a few times. Won't be sick. yeah, guys, this is the one. This is me well-read copy of The Stand, what I've had for years, as you can see. So that's the version I prefer, really. You know, the original one. I think it was released. Was it 1978? The paperback. Yeah, 1978. Yeah, that's the version I like the most, the original one. But as I say, I bought the uncut version and I couldn't get into it, so cast it aside. But this is the one. If I ever go back to The Stand, this is the one I'll read right away. Yeah, the uncut one didn't say. I couldn't get into it, and that maybe there was a lot of padding in it. I don't know, but I just couldn't finish it. But this one, I think this is the ideal length, guys. This one, yeah. So there you go. Right. Even they've done a mini series as well at The Stand. I don't know if any of you have seen that. Again, I couldn't really. I didn't think it was as good as that. You know, the original novel, what I just showed you. I couldn't really get into it. Now, sometimes you find that with a lot of Stephen King's works, the adaptation, whether it be a movie or a TV, it doesn't live up to the book. It doesn't quite replicate the book's magic. You know, well, that's just my opinion. You know, but there has been quite a few Stephen King adaptations where I've thoroughly disappointed. You know, disappointed me, and I preferred the book. Right, so get through some more comments then, guys. Right, Fazbear Bros is saying, any thoughts on The Mist? Well, you know, when you mention The Mist, I immediately think of that ending, which I won't reveal again, but that ending, yeah, quite a good story. Brian Gilson, do you like Creepshow? Yeah, I like all of them. Yeah, all of them. Wasn't the only thing was I didn't like the one with the bugs in. Yeah, that the story with the bugs in. Oh yeah, I didn't like that one. But all the others I liked. You know, all the other stories and that. I know Creepshow 3 gets a lot of stick, but I quite enjoyed it. Yeah, yeah. Right, Richard Brown saying, didn't he do a longer version of Salem's Lot also? I don't know. A longer version of Salem's Lot. I'm not too sure, Richard. Walk on, always believe. The Stephen King's films I wasn't keen on are Shining, Pet Sematary, and Christine, but all the others I've seen I really enjoy. Misery is one of those rare films I think is flawless. Yeah, it's outstanding. It is outstanding. Yeah, one of the greatest stories that Stephen King has ever written. Yeah, absolutely love Misery. Yeah. Rob's here. You okay, Rob, mate? Thanks for dropping by. Hi, Alan. Going to be watching Blood on Satan's Claw tonight. Great movie. Great movie. Got the Blu-ray after your recommendation. Looking forward to seeing it. I think you'll enjoy it, Rob. Yeah, if you like your British folk horror, I think you will enjoy Blood on Satan's Claw. It's a fantastic movie, and Linda Hayden is really on the money playing the sinister angel. Oh yeah, yeah. Nothing could be fair. Nothing could be more contrary, because she's a downright devil in it rather than an angel. Yeah, but I won't say any more about it. You will enjoy it. I guarantee you'll enjoy that. Ian Hill Ramblings. Hi, Alan. Hope you are doing well. Oh, thanks very much, mate. Yeah. I'm doing fine. Thanks. Hope you are too. I love Children of the Corn. That's a good one. Yeah, Children of the Corn with a young Linda Hamilton. Yeah. Enjoyed the folk horror element. Not everyone's cup of tea. No, I know not everybody's cup of tea. I mean, one hates that movie, Children of the Corn. She doesn't like it at all. You know, she whenever I mention Children of the Corn, oh, that bloody thing. Yeah, but I quite enjoyed it. Yeah. I like the short story as well. It's not one of my favorites. I must admit, it's not one of my favorite Stephen King short stories, but I do like it. I do like it. And that's got a folk horror ambience to it. Walk on, always believe is saying, is there a Stephen King film that you prefer? Is there a Stephen King film that you preferred over the book? No, don't think there is. You know. No, there's a lot of Stephen King. There's a lot of Stephen King movies that have been, disappointed with. Just as a lot of Stephen King movies, I thought did justice to the book. There's been quite a few that I haven't liked. You know, as I was saying before, the Tommy Knockers. You know, and stories like that. But no, I can't honestly say that there's a Stephen King film that I preferred over the book. No, none springs to mind anyway. Melanie says Insomnia is a great book. Do you know I haven't read that one for years, Mel? I'll have to revisit that. Yeah, I haven't read it for years, so I don't remember too much what happens in that. Yeah, I'll have to get that. I'll have to get that one again. Yeah, and revisit it. Yeah, I don't remember too much about that one, Insomnia. David Price is saying, I watched The Haunting from 1963 last night. Great film in black and white. Yeah, it is, David. Yeah, I did a 2-day film shoot with Claire Bloom and June Whitfield years ago as an extra on a TV series called Family Money. Oh, Grace, yeah. I watched that program, David, on June Whitfield on Saturday night. It was very, very interesting. Yeah. Oh, she was a very, very versatile actress, wasn't she? June Whitfield. Used to like her in Terry and June as well, with the late great Terry Scott. Yeah, very, very versatile actress. Yeah, one of our best, actresses. You know, best British actresses. Richard Brown says, have you read any of his collaborations? Oh, you mean the likes of the Talisman, things like that, and the Sleeping Beauties? Yeah, I've read a couple of chapters and I cast them aside because I have to admit, Richard, I didn't like them. I did not like them at all. No, especially Sleeping Beauties. Oh God, that book, it bored me to tears. I mean, no offense to Stephen King and his son and that, but I have to be honest and say it did bore me. But it's a Marmite book. A lot of people like it. A lot of people loathe it. The same with the Talisman. I only read 1 or 2 chapters of that and I cast it aside. Yeah, I much prefer it when he writes on his own. I don't really. To be honest, I'm not really a great fan of author collaborations on stories. I like an author to write it out. Solely him, exclusively his work. I don't like all this chipping in on stories and that. Yeah, that's just my opinion anyway. Yeah, it's not something I take to. Pete's saying the original Firestarter was great with Drew Barrymore. Yeah, the film felt like a John Carpenter film. I think it was originally intended to be directed by him. Yeah, it's a good one, the original Firestarter piece. Yeah, I've heard a lot of talk about this new one. It's a bit of a Marmite movie. Some like it and some loathe it. But I've seen the trailer, and from what I've seen, I don't think I'll be checking that out. I'll stick with the original, with Drew Barrymore in. Yeah, I don't think I'll be checking that new one out. I'm not a big fan of remakes. We've got to be very, very good. My favorite remake is the Amityville Horror remake, which I think was 2005. If my memory serves me correct. Yeah, I thought that was better than the original. The 1979 one with Margot Kidder and James Brolin. I much preferred the remake, and now very, very rare that I prefer a remake over the original, but that was a pleasing exception, the Amityville Horror. But yeah, I don't think I'll be checking that new Firestarter out to give that a miss. Mel's saying Mr. Barlow will always be the scariest vampire ever. Yeah, alongside Christopher Lee, of course, as Dracula, the 2 greatest vampires in movie history. Christopher Lee as Dracula, and the guy that played Kurt Barlow in the David Soul movie. Yeah, and in the book, if you've read the novel, the vampire, he's more like Dracula. He's very, very urbane and that, and suave and that. He looks like a human being, but he's got the demonic vampire side to him. But he's more like Dracula. He hasn't got the Nosferatu look. But they've done that for the movie to make him even more terrifying. They've done that, that image of Barlow for the David Soul movie, as I say, to make him more scary. Yeah, but I love both, and I've watched the movie many times and I've read the novel many times. I just absolutely love it. I tell you what I liked as well, the little short story Stephen King wrote, One for the Road. That's a good one. It's like a kind of a return to Salem's Lot. That's in his Night Shift collection. That's a great one, that. And One for the Road, somebody actually done a little mini movie of that on YouTube. It's a great, yeah, it's really good. Excuse me. Yeah, the way the fellow storms into the bar and that, and a real bad night and that snowy night, and saying about his wife, he's left his wife on the road. I won't give away too much about it. And he just barges into the bar and he's terrified that he's shaking. He's saying about his wife out there by Salem's Lot and that. You want to check it out? It's great. Yeah, it's like, I think it's about 25 minutes long. Yeah, it's a great little movie. Yeah, One for the Road. It's like a sequel to Salem's Lot. David's saying my favorite Stephen King films are The Shining, yeah, Carrie, yeah, Salem's Lot, yeah, and Misery, yeah, great choices, yeah. I echo those sentiments. Pete's saying 2017, The Dark Tower was based on a series of books by King. Yeah, I enjoyed the film, but it's nowhere near as good as the books. Idris Elba is great in it, mind. Yeah, I haven't really read the Dark Tower series piece. I read a couple of chapters of The Gunslinger, but it wasn't really for me. It was more like a fantasy kind of story, so I didn't really bother reading the Dark Tower series now. But I do know a lot of people like them. A lot of Stephen King fans do like them, but then you get a lot that haven't bothered with them. They just like him writing his ordinary horror books and that. But yeah, the series of books what I've never really wanted to get into and that. Yeah, but I do know a lot of people do like the series. Rob is saying another good example of a remake being better than the original is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I much prefer the 1978 version. Oh yeah, the one with Donald Sutherland in. Yeah, it's a good one, that. Yeah, and the original's good as well. I've read the novel. I read the novel as well. Yeah, yeah, very, very good story. Yeah, very creepy. Let's have a swig. Right, on to the next comments. Richard Brown, favorite King short stories not made into films. The Man in the Black Suit is one of them. As far as I know, that hasn't been made into a film. Well, not to my knowledge, anyway. The Man in the Black Suit is one of his most scary stories he's ever written. Yeah, all to do with the the man in the woods and that. He's supposed to be Satan. That's a real good one. That. I'm just trying to think. I think didn't he do a movie? The Americans call it the Boogeyman, don't they? We call it the Bogeyman, but the Americans call it the Boogeyman. Did he make a movie of that, or did he make like a was it one of the Nightmares and Dreamscapes segments? Yeah, that's one of my favorite Stephen King stories. Of course, I know he made The Raft. That was a short story, and he made that into a kind of a segment. And I think it was one of the Creepshow movies. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Favorite Stephen King short stories. Most of them haven't they? Room 1408. That's another one. It's been made into a movie. Yeah, but he's written loads, hasn't he? Over the years and that. I'd say some of his short stories are better than his novels. Pete's saying, have you seen Dolores Claiborne? I've heard that it's a great King film with Kathy Bates. I haven't seen that one, Pete. No. I've read a bit of the novel. Yeah, but I haven't seen the movie. I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Chestnut 7. I like Thinner by Stephen King. Yeah, I saw that years ago. That's where he gets isn't he trying to lose weight, and doesn't a gypsy put a curse on him? Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember too much about that one, but I do remember the gypsy curse. Melanie's saying Chris Sarandon's vampire Jerry Dandridge in Fright Night was based on the Mr. Barlow character from the book. Oh, right, yeah. I love Fright Night, yeah. And that's just come out on 4K, hasn't it? Or it's coming out on 4K. Yeah, that's a great one, Fright Night. That's one of the best vampire movies I've ever seen in my whole life. I love Roddy McDowall in it. It's a TV vampire, the TV vampire expert and that. Yeah, Vampire Hunter. Yeah, it's a great movie, Fright Night. I didn't like the sequel, though. I thought that was atrocious. Yeah, and I think I saw the remake a good few years ago, and I wasn't too keen on that. But I love the original Fright Night. It's a fantastic movie. Right. Brian's saying, have you seen the horror film Riding the Bullet, based on a Stephen King novel about a man going home as his mum is in hospital and he picks up a hitchhiker played by David Arquette? I haven't seen that one, Brian. I have seen it advertised a lot, but I haven't got round to seeing that one yet. Riding the Bullets. Ian Hill is saying the adult actors in the original It miniseries were so much better than the It Part 2 remake. They spoiled it. The kids were so much better. Yeah. I would prefer the Tim Curry one, the original one. Yeah. Right. Stacey's here. You okay, Stace? Thanks for dropping by. Hope you're well. Hi, Alan. Carl bought me the new book, Fairy Tale, but I haven't started reading it yet, as I'm in the middle of another book. I'm just about to start that one, Stace. Yeah. I finished The Ruins now, so I'm just about to start Fairy Tale. So when I've read it and that, I'll do a review of it on my channel. Yeah. quite a big book, isn't it? Yeah, another one of his Tiger Tank books. Yeah, absolutely massive volume. So I'm looking forward to reading that. Right. Richard's saying The Bogeyman was a film student made film, I think. Oh, right. It's a good one, that. The Bogeyman, yeah. It's one of his best short stories. That one he made, if you've read Night Shift, guys, the one where the guy gets the box of army soldiers and that, the soldiers and the tanks and that, and they all come to life, don't they? Battleground. I think that was again. I think that was a segment in one of the a Stephen King miniseries, or one of the Creep Show. I think it was one of the miniseries. Yeah, yeah. He buys this big chest of soldiers like airfix. They all come to life. That's quite a good one. Right. Right. David's saying, have you seen Zoltan, Hound of Dracula from 1978? Another film my mum used to let me stay up to watch on the TV. Yeah, I've seen that. A good few years ago. Yeah. The Hound of Dracula, Zoltan. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting that on Blu-ray at some point. But yeah, I've got fond memories of watching that on late night TV and that. Yeah, but it's a good few years ago, But the Hound was, from what I can recall, the Hound was very, very menacing. Yeah. Walk on, always believe. I'm just going to have my tea, Alan. Sorry to be rude, but I'll catch up the rest. Great stream again, Alan. If new people join the chat, please be nice to Alan and to the chat. Take care, Alan, and to the chat. Oh, thanks very much, mate. Yeah, thanks for dropping by and that. Have a nice weekend and that. And yeah, all going well. I'll talk to you again, very, very soon. Yeah. Thanks, mate. Brian's saying, I really enjoyed the film Graveyard Shift with Brad Dourif. Isn't that the one where he shoots the rats? The rats in the grave, they're all scurrying around the graveyard and he's shooting them. Yeah, Graveyard Shift. Yeah, that's a good one as well. Yeah. Nice. That's sweet, guys. What do you, any of you guys on here like Cujo? The one with the dog, the rabid dog, the St. Bernard. Yeah, I thought it was okay. It's not one of my favorite Stephen King stories, but I thought it was okay, average. Yeah, there is quite a few like that. What I thought, pretty average in that. Yeah, nothing to rave about, but yeah, it was okay. They're stuck in the one place, really. They were in the car all the time, weren't they? And the dog was just trying to get at them in the car. Yeah, the St. Bernard. Another Stephen King story I wasn't too keen on was Lisey's story. And if you guys read Lisey's story, yeah, after a couple of chapters, I just threw it aside. I didn't like that at all. Yeah, and with me being the funny thing is, guys, with me being a huge Stephen King fan, I'd love to like every single book he's written, but of course, you've got to get the odd one you're not too keen on. It's the same with James Herbert. My other all-time favourite horror writer on the British side. On the Britain, the best-selling writer in Britain. I would have liked to have enjoyed all of his books, but again, there's a couple I wasn't too keen on. So yeah, that's it. You see, hit and miss, isn't it, with everything? It's very, very rare that an author, especially in horror, an author can maintain with book after book after book that quality. There's got to be some weakness along the way somewhere where the story was a bit meh. Yeah, happens all the time, doesn't it? Richard saying Battleground was a Nightmares and Dreams. I thought it was on. It's in one of those TV miniseries, Richard. Yeah, but also in an earlier series called Dark Room, presented by James Cope. I remember that well, Dark Room. Yeah, and I'd like to see a Blu-ray release of that. Yeah, wasn't on long. That wasn't Richard. The one with James Coburn in Dark Room. I always remember watching that. We used to come in like if they'd been for a nice house and that'd be on telly and that. Yeah, I remember that one. Dark Room. Ian Hill, The Ramblings, says, do you remember that Stephen King wrote an episode for the X-Files? Forgotten the name of it. I'm not a fan of the X-Files, Ian, so I couldn't really comment on that, mate. But yeah, I didn't know that. Anybody like Stephen King? I know it wasn't a novel. Sleepwalkers. It's not a bad movie. Yeah, they're like sort of like they're like half cat, half vampire, aren't they? Yeah. It's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie. Brian Gilson, is that the episode about the tattoo? All right. Stacey saying, I've never seen Cujo. Oh, yeah, that's to say it's about a rabid dog, yeah, and it gets bitten. It goes down this cave, and it gets bitten by, bats and that, and it becomes rabid and that. Oh, God, it really gets, it really terrorizes the couple and that in the car and that. Well, the mother and the kid and that in the car and that, becomes really mad and that, and, you see the foam coming out of his mouth and everything and that, yeah. Oh, yeah. But as I say, they're in the one place most of the movie. They're stuck in the car, sort of like trying to get away from the the huge St. Bernard dog and that, David saying, love this live stream, Alan. Oh, thanks very much, David. Yeah, I'm enjoying it myself. Yes, I have that Cujo Blu-ray box set. Great artwork on the box set too. Yeah. David saying, did Stephen King write The People Under the Stairs? I don't think so. No, I don't think he wrote that. Not too keen on that movie, People Under the Stairs. Was that Wes Craven directed that, People Under the Stairs? I watched that a couple of times and I couldn't really get into it in that. Nice. Another Stephen King novel that I wasn't too keen on was The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. And if you've read that, that's about this girl. She gets lost in the forest and she's a big fan of this baseball player called Tom Gordon, and to sort of like help her get through her ordeal, wandering around in the woods, she's sort of like I think she has a radio, and she's listening to Tom, his matches and that. From what I can remember, anyway, yeah, it just consists of her wandering around the woods and that. And she's a big fan of this baseball player called Tom Gordon. Wasn't really a big fan of that one. Richard Brown saying, what is your favorite Stephen King acting performance? I use the word actor advisedly. Well, of course, Kathy Bates in Misery. Oh, that's absolutely breathtaking performance and that. She was fantastic in it as Annie Wilkes. Yeah, I like David Soul as well. He played as Ben Mears, the author, Ben Mears in Salem's Lot, and James Mason. And I like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. He played Jack Torrance there. Oh, fantastic performances all round. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love those movies. Great acting. Nice. Just waiting for some more comments, guys. But oh yeah, that Misery, it's a fantastic movie. It really is. This is like I suppose a lot of these authors like are on the guard, like with some, like there is some crazy people out there, fans and that. And I suppose that you must think from time to time. I hope I don't encounter anybody as bloody mad as Annie Wilkes, because she was a real bloody off her rocker, wasn't she? She really was, yeah. And God, I have to say, I need to mention that scene with the you know what I mean, the like scene and that. The sledgehammer and that. Oh God, it's even worse in the book. She uses a bloody axe in the book. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a great movie, that Misery. Brian is saying Stephen King's Desperation is really good. Ron Perlman is good as a demon sheriff. I've seen a bit of that. Desperation. Yeah. I didn't watch it right through. And again with the book, I didn't read the book right through. Yeah, not one of my favorite ones. That I might revisit at some point in that, but yeah, it's not one of my top 10 Stephen King stories, unfortunately. Mel saying, yeah, I love David Soul in Salem's Lot, yeah, and Jack Nicholson was amazing in The Shining. He certainly was, yeah, great. That's a great movie. That Shining, full of atmosphere, full of menace and that, and all the eerie Overlook Hotel. It's like an absolute labyrinth, isn't it? All those corridors and that, and all those rooms and that. Oh yeah, that's a great movie, The Shining. And I like the miniseries as well. Rebecca De Mornay, yeah. I believe Stephen King wasn't too keen on the Stanley Kubrick version of The Shining in that. Yeah, he had a few problems with it. Yeah, but I think both are great, both the movie and the TV series. Fazbear Bros is saying, didn't Stephen King act in It Chapter 2 as a shopkeeper? Not too sure. Can't remember. But although he has made one or two cameos, hasn't he? He was in Pet Sematary, wasn't he? Didn't he play the priest in Pet Sematary? Yeah, but he has, like Hitchcock, he's made a couple of cameos in his movies. Tell you what's a good. what a good Stephen King book to get, guys. It's not like a fiction book on writing where he discusses the craft of writing. You know, if you're a writer, he really goes to town, you know, all about writing and that, the craft and that. And he's gives some good tips as well. You know, if you really got your heart set on being a writer, and of course he quotes instances from his life and that. You know, it's a great book on writing. I've read it many times. Yeah, so I highly recommend that, particularly if you're interested in writing fiction. Yeah, it's a great book. Yeah. David Price, I know you're not a fan of the 1979 Dracula film, but John Williams' film score is brilliant. Yeah. Melanie's saying Gerald's Game is on Netflix, but I haven't seen it yet. Has anyone watched it? No, I haven't got Netflix. I used to have Netflix smell, but yeah, I scrapped it, like, you know, couldn't keep up with it, like. And the movies, like, as well, they didn't seem to be putting many modern movies on. You had to wait ages before you get a modern movie on. It's mostly like a lot of TV shows on there. But again, Gerald's Game, I've only read a couple of chapters of that years ago, so I'll have to revisit that as well. And as I say, that these editions, what they're bringing out, Stephen King, these you know, the new covers and that. I think Gerald's Game's among them, so I might send up a Gerald's Game on Amazon. Yeah, I love the way they've done these guys, these reissues and that. They've done a good job with the covers, haven't they? You know, fantastic. Yeah. Right. Like, on the subject, we to broach the subject of this. What I liked about I don't know about you guys, but what I especially liked about the novel was the way Pennywise he personified really every movie monster, didn't he? With him being a shapeshifter, he sort of like, it was like a nod to all the movie monsters, wasn't it? You know, the Wolfman, the Mummy, you know, monsters like that and that. You know, Zombie and that. You know, and the bear, the giant beard and that. He was a shapeshifter, and it was good the way Stephen King, he sort of like, it was like a big nod to all the movie monsters, and that he put them all into one story, and he sort of like condensed it in the form of Pennywise, the shapeshifter. I thought that was a brilliant idea. That I love the way he kept popping up as well, particularly in the books and that. You know, he kept popping up all the time, didn't he, with the balloons and that? Yeah. Oh yeah. Very, oh yeah. Very scary villain, Pennywise. Right, just bear with me, guys. I'm just I meant Stephen King as an actor. Yeah, an actor. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, he made a cameo appearances and that. Yeah, acting. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, popping up like in a role and that. David's saying, I know you're not a fan. Yo, have that one. Sorry, mate. Guys. Stacey's saying, I've seen Stephen King do some cameos. Yeah, as I say, yeah, he did pop up from time to time in his movies in the style of Alfred Hitchcock. He used to do that, didn't he? He used to pop up in that, yeah. Stacey's saying, Gerald's Game is okay, but nothing special. Oh, right, yeah. I'll have to check that out. As I say, like, I haven't seen it, but I've read a bit of the book years ago and that, but I'll have to check that out. Richard's saying, have you read Dance Macabre? I've got it in my collection. King's study of horror in film, TV, and fiction. It's great. It's great here, Richard. Yeah, I've got it on my bookshelf there. Yeah, Dance Macabre. Yeah, he really goes into detail, doesn't he, about you know, the world of horror and that. You know, it's a great book, that Dance Macabre. Yeah, I love it. Rob Gray, I believe Pennywise has the same name as me in the book. I was just thinking that when I saw your name. G'day. I thought, oh God, is he related to Pennywise? Yeah. Never read it, but I've been told this before. Yeah. Bob Gray, the clown. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Bob Gray, Pennywise. Yeah. Right. Sorry, guys. I just David's saying, what did you think of the new It films? I like them. As I say, the first one was okay. It was okay. It wasn't great. I didn't like the second one, to be honest. I didn't like it at all. You know, I didn't like the special effects. There was too much reliance, especially at the end, on special effects. And I didn't like the way the characters, they weren't very serious in that. They were a bit comedic in that. You know, I didn't really I didn't like those two aspects about part two. But as I say, if I do revisit it, I mean, I've only seen both once. If I do revisit it, which you often do, even though sometimes I might like a movie the first time around, I might give it one more watch, just to sort of like see if there's anything in it that I've missed first time, or if I do like it a bit more. I did that with The Conjuring. I didn't like it at first, but I gave it a rewatch and I liked it. the second time around. But if I do revisit it, you know, part 1 and 2, yeah, I might, who knows, I might think different. But that, as regards part 2, I think my opinion will stay the same. You know, there was too much, you know, I didn't like the comedy in it. He put too much comedy in it. I didn't like the special effects, you know. I didn't really see much of Pennywise in that either, you know. I did prefer the you know, the other one that was at the 90s with Tim Curry, and that was the favorite one. But again, the ending, bit doubtful about the ending, guys. But I won't. If you haven't seen it, I won't. Or read the book, I won't give away the ending. But not a big fan of the ending. Nice. Ian Hill saying, "Have you read the novel 11/22/63 about a time traveler trying to prevent the Kennedy assassination? I enjoyed the TV adaptation." Yeah, I have read it, and I've seen the TV adaptation. I'm not really a fan of that. Yeah, see, what it is with me, I prefer Stephen King when he writes his horror. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind him doing the odd thriller now and again, but I do prefer him when he writes out and out horror, you know, like Salem's Lot, you know, The Shining, you know, Pet Sematary, books like that. I do prefer him when he you know, he writes his horror, what he sort of like made his name with, really, in that. But yeah, I wasn't not a great fan of that one, the Kennedy one. But I do know a lot of people do like it. Brian Gilson, do you like the film Cat's Eyes? I've got that on just bought it on 4K. Yeah. It's a great little anthology movie, that, but the only one I didn't like was the one at the end with the troll. Wasn't too keen on that. But yeah, it's a great little horror anthology movie, that, yeah. Richard Brown saying, "Have you seen the Stranger Things that totally rips off Stephen King?" I haven't seen it, but I know a lot of people have seen it and talked about it, but I haven't got round to checking that out yet. Nice. Wait for some more comments, guys. Yeah, so as I say, this new Salem's Lot movie, I'm not really not very excited about it. Just as I'm not very excited about the new Halloween movie, Halloween Ends. I'm not really after that car crash one last year, Halloween Kills, Evil Dies Tonight, Evil Dies Tonight. Bloody hell, how many times were you going to say that in the bloody film? It was doing me head in. Evil Dies Tonight, Evil Dies Tonight. He sounded like a bloody broken record, didn't he? You know, I thought it was a ridiculous movie, that, guys. I thought that was an insult to the whole Halloween franchise myself. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people do like it. I'm not saying, if you haven't seen it, I'm not saying don't, you know, trying to put you off, but that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people do share my opinion. Thought it was ridiculous, you know, and the way he fought all those bloody firemen and that, as if he was a bloody Superman. Thought that was ridiculous as well. Yeah. I don't like this idea either of in some quarters of the movie industry, you know, they sort of like got designs on you know, creating more of Michael's backstory, explaining, you know, his origin and that, and really going into detail. I like them to keep him to, like, mysterious, like, you know, like he was in the first film. All right, you seen him when he was a kid, didn't you, at the beginning? But I like that mysterious quality. I don't like them unraveling every little thing about that, because it destroys all the mystery, doesn't it? You know, about the character. They start going back and telling every little thing about the school and that, and the teen years and that. Oh yeah, it destroys the mystery, guys. That's my opinion anyway. Right. Okay, Fazbear Brothers is saying, "I hope you do a special stream for Halloween." Yeah. I might even do a midnight one, a midnight special. Yeah, so you never know. Midnight special. Richard Brown, what about the new Hellraiser? I haven't seen it, so can't comment. The only Hellraiser movie I like, Richard, is the first one. After that, meh. You know, yeah, didn't like them. David Price, what are you doing on Halloween, Alan? I'm watching all the Halloween movies. No, only joking. But I'll probably watch 1 or 2 Halloween movies. I don't know yet, Dave. Yeah, what are you doing on Halloween? Don't really go around trick or treating and that. You know, that's too old for that. I never done it anyway. You know, going around knocking on people's doors and that. You know, no. Most probably watch a horror movie or 2, or even do a live stream at midnight. I don't know. Melanie's saying, "I am a John Carpenter fan. I love the original Halloween." Yeah. One of my favorites is John Carpenter's The Fog, a classic ghost story. Yeah, I'm not really a great fan of that, Mel. Yeah, I've watched it a couple of times. I can't really get into it. I thought it was a bit slow for me, like, yeah. See, with me, see, when I watch a movie, I like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind slow burners. I mean, I love Rosemary's Baby. That was a slow burner. Movies like that. But, the story's got to be really good. The characters have got to be really good. Otherwise, by half, say about what, up to say at the most, maybe up to 3/4 of an hour, and a movie hasn't captured my interest, I just switch it off. It's got to really capture me interest in that for me to maintain, to watch it right through to the end. I like me movies to have good characters, good location, and a good creepy atmosphere. And I love an element of mystery as well. I like that elements of mystery, especially with ghost stories and that. Like for instance, you don't really know if it's a ghost or really the person's just imagining it. I love that mysterious quality in my movies and that. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of The Fog. I regret to say. David's saying, I am watching Hammer films. Oh, good on you. Love me Hammer films, yeah. As you will probably know by the countless videos I've done praising that studio. Oh, love Hammer. And Universal as well, and Amicus. Have any of you, getting back to Stephen King, have any of you guys read Doom Marquis? Yeah, he wrote it a couple of years ago. Yeah, not really a big fan of that one either. I thought it was a bit slow. Yeah, not really a big fan of Doom Marquis. Rock and Roll Hell, new Hellraiser's got really good write-ups. Oh, right, yeah. Oh, well, if it's as good as the first one, it'll be worth seeing, won't it? But I'll reserve my judgments until I've actually seen it, like, my own eyes. Stacey's saying, I wasn't keen on the latest Halloween film either, but Carl wants to watch the new one at the cinema. Yeah, I will probably watch it myself, Stacey, when it comes out on Blu-ray. Yeah, because I've watched all Halloween movies, so no doubt I'll watch that and that. Let's just hope they haven't made an even bigger mess of it than the mess they made in the first one, because I think the more they make these movies and that, the quality seems to dip in that. I mean, I've said this before. My favorite two of the whole franchise is Halloween from 1978 and the follow-up Halloween 2 in 1981. They're my two favorite Halloween movies. I didn't like Halloween 3 because it didn't have Michael in it, but that's beside the point. I didn't like the story. The Curse of Michael Myers, the Return of Michael Myers, they were all right. I don't remember too much about them because I haven't watched them for years, but I've got the Scream Factory ones and that, so most probably I'll be revisiting them. But yeah, they're my two favorite ones, the original Halloween and the Halloween 2. But I'm not really holding out much hope. I'm not really sort of like excited about this new one, Halloween Ends. But I'll watch it. I'll most probably get it. Like if I don't rent it out on Prime, I'll most probably buy it now. But I think I might be renting it out, like considering the money wasted on the last one. Richard Brown says Prince of Darkness, a great underrated John Carpenter film. That's the one with Donald Pleasence, isn't it? Yes, it's not bad. It's not bad. Nice. Wait for some more comments, guys. Yes, I'll say these are great additions. These reissues of Stephen King's. That's a good one. Just After Sunset, a short story collection. Yeah, The Bazaar of Bad Dreams. That's another good short story collection. Yeah, there's some cracking covers, guys, with these books. They really have, So, yeah, I love collecting Stephen King. I say he's got such a vast, vast catalogue of work, hasn't he? Right from 1974. And I always love the story of Carrie. He's often, of course, over the years, he's repeated it over and over again. Like, when he first wrote it, now he threw it into the trash can, and his wife said, "What are you throwing? Don't throw that away." So she fished it out, didn't she? Smoothed the pages out and that. And so he took her advice and he wrote it out. I think he done another draft of it, and he sent it off. And of course, lo and behold, we all know what happened, don't we? That was the book that really launched him, Carrie. Yeah. Well, it's like in the interviews we see him get interviewed. He said he's always written short stories, right from his college days and that. As a kid and that, always been fascinated by stories and that. He's a fantastic storyteller, and he knows how to get into a character's mind as well. He knows how people behave and that. And he really puts across some of the characters he's created and some of the villains. I mean, Randall Flagg and The Stand and that. Oh, he was a real villain. He was, yeah. And of course, Annie Wilkes and that, Kurt Barlow, you know, people like that. Yeah, it was created some real nasty villains and that, you know, Rose the Hat, which of course I think, in my opinion, was a rather a minor villain. But oh yeah, he's, you know, he is a fantastic writer, like. Right, David Price. I have visited the Hammer Film Studios in Bray 4 times back when they had their Hammer Film open days, right? Loads of the actors there signing for free. Oh, that'd have been awesome, that. I would have loved to have met Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and of course the lovely Veronica Carlson, my favourite Hammer girl, God rest her soul, and Linda Hayden. She was in The Taste of Blood of Dracula. You know, Ralph Bates was a great actor as well. Yeah. Oh yeah. I could go on about Hammer films and how much I love them and that, you know, yeah. Oh, fantastic company. They made some great stories and that, you know, lovely colour as well. You know, we're all our Gothic films and that. Oh, the colour was lovely. Chestnut says 7. David Price, is anything left of the Bray Studios? Melanie's saying, I love Stephen King's house. Very Gothic. It suits him. Yeah, I know, Mel. Yeah. Yeah, it's very Gothic, isn't it? Yeah, very creepy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Brian Gilson's Storm of the Century was a creepy show. The villain was good. Oh, that's the one where he says, give me what I want and I will go away. He has a woolen hat on, doesn't he? Yeah. That was like that wasn't from it wasn't from a story, was it? Stephen King wrote that specifically for the TV, didn't he? Yeah. Years since I saw it, like, but I always remember him saying, give me what I want and I will go away. Yeah. Oh, I'll have to revisit that. I'll have to get the DVD of that. Yeah. David is saying, yes, Chestnut say 7. They saved the studios from demolition. It's now a working studio again, right? Oh yeah, you can't beat Hammer Films. Chestnut says 7. Oh right, cheers. Yeah. So, guys, in regards to Stephen King, you know, Stephen King movies, the any particular Stephen King movie you've got in your collection, what you watch most of all, you know, again and again and again? Yeah, feel free to discuss. You know, be very interested. You know, I'm always interested in like people's collections and that. What movies, what they like best, and what movies they hate. So yeah, so if you've got like your favorite Stephen King 4K, for example, yeah, you know, discuss it and that. You know, yeah, I showed 4 cracking ones off last night in my video. You know, the video I done. You know, Christine, Pet Sematary, The Shining, and that, and The Cat's Eye. Oh, great movies and that. Yeah, so as I say, really made up, you know, my Stephen King collection. Yeah, so there's a couple of gaps in that, you know, got to fill in and that. Obviously, books years ago when I started, I didn't finish in that. Hope to revisit and that, like Gerald's Game, you know, books like that. And I've got to get Insomnia because I haven't got that one in my current collection. Yeah. Richard Brown, wasn't Tommy Knocker Stephen King's homage to Quatermass and the Pit? I believe it was. Yeah, that was his homage to Quatermass and the Pit. Yeah, definitely. I'll be doing talking about Quatermass. I've got the 3 Quatermass movies now, so I've watched the first 2. I love the first one. I didn't like the second one, but I've got the third one now, the coloured one. So once I've watched that, I'm going to do a Quatermass rankings of all 3 movies. So watch out for that, guys. David Price is saying, do you have a Facebook or Instagram, Alan? I have Carry on Arrow Blu-ray and Salem's Lot on Blu-ray. Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, David. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Yeah, I run 2 groups on Facebook, Horror Stories and True Ghost Stories, which have got, they've got a few thousand members now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm on, so if you want to drop me a message in that, you know, Alan Tone, just type it in, Alan Tone, and I'll come up on that. Chestnut 7. I only have Misery and The Green Mile, but seen them many times. Yeah. Right. Brian's saying my favourite is Salem's Lot and The Langoliers. What is your favourite Hammer film? My favourite Hammer film is well, it's 2 really. I can't really pick one over the other. The Curse of Frankenstein from 1957 and Dracula from 1958. They're the two Hammer movies that really got me into the studio. You know, really it made me a big fan of Hammer films and that. I mean, Christopher Lee, he was fantastic as Dracula, you know, and Peter Cushing as Van Frankenstein. Of course, he played Van Helsing as well in Dracula. Peter Cushing, of course, Christopher Lee played the monster, didn't he, in The Curse? Excuse me. But oh yeah, I love Hammer films and that. It's great to have them. I love the way Scream Factory are releasing all these Hammer titles on special editions with the slipcover, because I'm a big fan of slipcovers, you know, and it's great to see, you know, all these classic Hammer films and that. What I've owned on DVD and that, and Blu-ray and that, getting new transfers and that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they release more Dracula films and more Frankenstein films. Yeah, very, very pleased with Scream Factory. You know, the treatment they're giving to the Hammer films. Rob Grace saying, I know Stephen King wasn't the biggest fan of Kubrick's Shining, but I think it's great. He does take us in many different directions to King, yeah. There were lots of hidden subtext. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Sometimes like these directors do put a different spin on a story, which I suppose is good, because you don't want a word for word. If you're going to watch a movie, you don't want a word for word exactly in the novel. But then again, on the other side of the coin, you don't want the movie adaptation to stray too far away from the novel and make it into an entirely different story. So these producers and directors, they've got to strike a balance, you know. Otherwise, you know, it's just not worth doing, in my opinion. You know, so if you're going to make a movie of it, you're going to make a big movie of a classic novel, you better make sure you get it right. You know, it's not easy, not always easy. David Price, Grace, I can send you some photos from the Bray Open Day. Oh, Grace, yeah. Oh, thanks very much, David. Yeah, I look forward to that. Yeah, cheers, mate. David Price says, Taste the Blood of Dracula is my favourite Hammer film, and I've visited the locations in London. Yeah, I love Taste the Blood of Dracula. Spoke about it many, many times on this channel. Fantastic movie, and Linda Hayden was especially on the money, you know, playing the girl and that, you know, the father was cruel to her and that, you know, and of course John Carson and Peter Sallis, you know, the three men. They wanted more exciting things than the life, didn't he? And so Lord Courtly, he got them into this ritual, which of course ensued in Dracula being revived in his body. I love that movie, Taste of Blood of Dracula. Well, I love all the Christopher Lee Draculas. So Richard Brown, when he was a teacher, Stephen King taught Dracula and Frankenstein in his English literature classes. I believe he did. Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah, he was a teacher. Yeah. Stacey saying, sorry, I have to go now, but great topic and chat. Oh, thanks very much, Stacey, for dropping by. Yeah, nice talking to you. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, cheers, thanks. Brian's saying, me and my mum watched Dracula 1972 and Taste the Blood of Dracula last week on Blu-ray. We really enjoyed them. Yeah, they're great movies then, Brian. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, love Christopher Lee as Count Dracula. Ebony, you okay, Eb? Good evening, Alan. Sorry I'm late. Oh, don't worry about it, Eb. It's okay. Yeah, you're welcome anytime. Thanks for dropping by, mate. David Price is saying, have you seen Baby Love with Linda Hayden? It's funny you should mention that, David, because I'm thinking about getting the Blu-ray of that. Yeah. Is it network? Is it network release? Yeah, I must probably pick that up. Yeah, if not this week, maybe next week and that. Yeah, Baby Love. Yeah, I've never seen that. Yeah, when I seen Linda Hayden, that I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. One of the movies I've never seen it in. So yeah, I must probably pick the Blu-ray up of that. They're a good company, network. I've got a couple of their Blu-rays. David's saying, I've got that. Yes, it is. Right. Eb is saying, Stephen King's Geordie Merrill character in Creepshow is funny and sad. People don't like that segment, but it strangely works. Yeah. Yes, I'm enjoying it tonight, guys. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, everybody. Yeah, love talking about Stephen King and that. You know, I say he's made some fantastic stories, and you know, fantastic. He's written some fantastic novels, and you know, movies over the years and that, you know, and as I say, The Shining in particular, that is a movie that is just oozing with atmosphere, you know, that Overlook Hotel, you know, and Jack Torrance and that is gradual deterioration and that, you know, and then Pet Cemetery, you know, the Micmac burial ground and that, or the absolute classics of horror they are. And Christine as well. I tell you, one of the aspects I like about Christine, the way the car, the Plymouth Fury, it evokes the atmosphere of the 1950s, doesn't it? The rock and roll and that. Yeah, I love that. And the way Arnie Cunningham's personality changes, you know, because prior to that, he's like a kind of a wimp, isn't he? You know, at school and that, and he gets picked on. He's a bit of you know, he's a bit of a weakling. But when he gets Christine, that boy does his personality change. Yeah, I love Christine. It's a fantastic story. Richard Brown, have you seen Deathline? Cannibals in the Underground with a cameo? I've seen that. Yeah, not one of my favourites. That you only see Christopher Lee for about what, bloody 4 minutes and that. Yeah, he's like a businessman, isn't he? He a bowl hat and that. Yeah, yeah, that was easy money for him, wasn't it? Yeah, just a couple of minutes in the film. Edward, what's your favourite King remake? What's my favourite King remake? Oh God, well, I didn't like Pet Cemetery. I hate the remake of Pet Cemetery. I hated that. My favourite Stephen King remake? I don't think I've got one. No, I just like the originals, you know. I didn't like the remake of it. As I said, I wasn't too. The first one was all right. It was all right, but the second one part was atrocious, you know. But yeah, it's mostly the originals like my favourites, you know. Rob Gray, Stand By Me is a good King film that has less horror elements, engaging story. Oh, right, so I'll have to check that out, yeah. Brian Gilson, I read he wrote The Shining after having a paranormal experience in a Stanley Hotel. Yeah, he went to the Stanley Hotel, didn't he? Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, definitely. David Price, love these live streams, mate. Our cheers, mate. And brings back so many memories of staying up late with my mum watching all the old films. Yeah, oh yeah, I've got fond memories myself of staying up with my parents and that, watching the late night movies on Friday nights and Monday nights and that. Point with Fear was on the Monday nights, and a couple going further into the 70s would be like the Friday nights and that. And then of course you had the BBC Two double bill, didn't you? In the late 70s, they'd show a modern one. And then he'd show an old one, then he'd show a modern one, wouldn't he? Yeah. Oh, great memories. Yeah. Chestnut 7, didn't Jack Nicholson ad lib the It's Johnny from the Johnny Carson show? Oh, don't know. First time you learn something new every day, don't you? Fazbear Brothers, the original Pet Cemetery is always the best. Yeah, certainly. I love Pet Cemetery. I think it's one of the greatest stories that Stephen King ever wrote. Very, very dark, very, very bleak, very, very atmospheric. A lot of grief, family grief, and that. So many stunning scenes in both the book and the movie. Oh, love Pet Cemetery. Yeah, love the idea as well of the Micmac, you know, the Indian burial ground and that, you know, behind the graveyard where all the pets are buried and that, this ground that's cursed and that. Oh, it's a fantastic movie. And those endings, boy. David Price, have you got Armchair Thriller series from the late 70s on DVD? Great series. I've got the Thriller Brian Clemens series, David, but I haven't got the Armchair Thriller. I'll have to add them to my collection. Yeah, I love the Brian Clemens Thriller, and I hope they release a Blu-ray of that. Brian Clemens' Thriller, yeah. But I'll have to get the Armchair Thriller. I'll have to add that to me TV series collection because that's mounting up as well. You know, my TV series box sets. Eb's saying Netflix's Midnight Mass series, an interesting take up Salem's Lot. Very creepy show. All right, so I'll have to check that out. Richard Brown saying lots of us stayed up late watching horror films with our parents. My dad pretended he didn't like them, but he always watched them with us. Yeah. Some people you don't like horror films. They say they're ridiculous, but what they really mean, they're too scared to watch them. Yeah, I'm not saying that applies to everybody. I'm not making sweeping generalizations, but you know, there must be some people that say, "Oh, what do you want to watch horror films for? They're stupid," but deep down inside, they're too scared to watch them. Yeah. Oh dear. David Price, I have that Thriller series box set as well. Yeah. Yeah, so as I say, thanks again, guys, for turning up tonight. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, it's great talking about Stephen King and horror movies. Just some more comments, guys. So have any of you guys got any Stephen King movies in the pipeline? What you're going to watch? You know, you're planning to pick up any Stephen King 4Ks or Blu-rays? Yeah, again, please feel free to discuss. You know, very interested. You know, to talk about all aspects of Stephen King and that, and of course horror films in general. Ebony is saying it's Chestnut 7. Jack Nicholson was doing a take of a Richard Pryor joke about if Johnny Carson was a murderer. Pryor said, "Here's Johnny." So Nicholson copied this. Oh, right. Never knew that. David Price is saying, I remember the BBC used to show the double bills with a Hammer film and a Universal film as well. Yeah, I remember it well. Yeah, great days, great days. Richard Brown, was Linda Hayden in the Thriller series? You mean the Brian Clemens thriller series? I'm not sure now. There's quite a few episodes. I don't think she was, you know. But you know, a lot of the episodes, like I'm forgetting that, but I don't recall any particular episodes seeing Linda Hayden in. I know the American Girls in one, Linda Day George, she was in one, and Joanna Pettet, who was in she's been in a couple of the Night Gallery series. Joanna Pettet, she was a great friend of Sharon Tate's. Yeah, she's been in one or two. She's got lovely long blonde hair. She's got like Linda Day George. Yeah, but I don't think Linda Hayden was in any of the Thriller episodes. But correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But I'm sure she wasn't in any of them. Chestnut F7 is saying, oh right, I heard something about it. Cheers. Yeah. Brian Gilson, what's your thoughts on Dennis Wheatley? I enjoyed The Devil Rides Out film. The Devil Rides Out is a fantastic movie. Yeah, Christopher Lee playing a good role for once, isn't he? As a Duke de Richelieu. Yeah, and Charles Gray, he plays MacArthur. That's a great one. That one of Hammer's best movies. Yeah, watched it many times. Love The Devil Rides Out. It's a great movie. Edward's saying, I'm planning to watch Dr. Sleep for the first time ever. Got the Blu-ray. Oh, I hope you enjoy it, Edward. Yeah. As I say, at some point, I might revisit it. You know, to Rose the Hat. She's the main villain, isn't she? They're like sort of like the one true not. I think the cult's called. Yeah. But yeah, I might revisit Dr. Sleep, because as I say, HMV, they've got a sale at the moment. You get 2 for £13. Yeah. So I got a voucher as well the other day online and that. So I've got a £7.99 Blu-ray reduced to £4. So I've got that to pick up tomorrow, and then I might, when I'm in the store, I might check out the 2 for 13. I might revisit them again. They do some fantastic slipcovers, HMV, with those special editions. Yeah, real colourful. And that I've got a couple already in my collection. I've got a couple of the Annabelle movies, and I've got the first Freddy Krueger film. Lovely slipcover. Yeah, lovely slipcovers. Richard Brown is saying, I remember Linda Hayden in And Some Others Do Have Them. Yeah, I think she was. Yeah, come to think of it now. Yeah, she was on an episode of that. Ebony is saying Stephen King's dad walked out on his family when he was 8, yeah, telling his mother he was going out for cigarettes, yeah. He never came back, and Stephen King only recently found out what happened to him. Oh, right. Interesting. Yeah, it was a bit slimy, that, wasn't it? You know, doing that. Just waiting for some more comments, guys. Yeah, so I'll say I'm really enjoying it tonight. Like, you know, the discussion had some good topics and good topics. David Price is saying the theme tunes to Thriller used to scare the crap out of me back in the 70s. Yeah, great theme tune, that, through a fisheye lens. Yeah, and the Armchair Thriller series had the iconic intro of the shadow moving in to sit in the armchair. Oh, right, yeah. I'll have to check out the Armchair Thriller series. I know I've seen the box set last year, but there didn't seem to be many episodes on that. And weren't they split up into four segments per episode and that? Yeah, I'll have to check that out, Armchair Thriller. So when I buy a box set, I like a lot of episodes on the box set. Otherwise, I think I'm not getting the full value for my money. There's only a couple of episodes on it. Just like the Beasts one I bought a couple of months ago. Although I love the series, there's not many episodes on it. You know, I think they only made about 6. But I love loads and loads and loads of episodes on. You know, if I get a TV series, I love loads and loads of episodes to wade through with. Which is the case with the Night Gallery, what I'm watching now, and the Alfred Hitchcock Presents, loads of episodes. Oh, and Boris Karloff's Thriller, that's got loads of episodes as well. So yeah, I like me value for money when I buy box sets. David Price is saying, look in CEX, they have it cheap, right? Yeah. Richard Brown, didn't Stephen King's mother say that after his father left, she had seen him in the background? Oh, right, of a news report on the TV. Oh, I haven't heard that. Right, Mel's saying we'll need to revisit the Dead Zone. I haven't seen it in years. Yeah, I'll have to revisit the Dead Zone again. I haven't seen it in years. So yeah, definitely, that's definitely on my list. David Price, I have Beast, remember it well. Yeah, I love the episode with the haunted, the ghost in the supermarkets. That's a great one. That Shirley Sheraton's in that. She used to be in the blonde girl. She used to be in Angels. You know about the nurses. It starts in 1975, and she played Debbie Wilkinson, didn't she? In EastEnders, she worked in the bank. Yeah, she was a lovely looking girl. Linda Hayden, not Linda Hayden. She's a bit like Linda Hayden. It's very easy to get them mixed up. Yeah, Shirley Sheraton. Yeah, she was in that. Ebony, read books or seen films by Sean Hudson, kind of the UK Stephen King. Yeah, oh yeah, I've read a couple of Sean Hudson's books and they're very, very stomach churning, especially the Slugs one. Oh yeah, very, very, very stomach churning, and the one with the gangster. The gangster one, that's quite stomach churning and that. And Erebus, yeah, oh yeah, he's very, very graphic, Sean Hudson, isn't he? Yeah, very graphic, like the heavy metal author, they call him, don't they? The heavy metal author of horror fiction, yeah, packs a punch with his books, yeah. Oh yeah, very, very, very explicit, some of his books. They made a movie, Slugs, didn't they? It was on Arrow release. David Price, I remember Angels. Yeah, started in 1975. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember Angels. Yeah. When it started, me school came around in September. I remember it coming on. Yeah, and it was on for quite a few years, wasn't it? Was it 1981, 82? It finished. Yeah. Oh yeah, I used to watch Angels every Monday night. Yeah, used to like the theme tune as well. It was very dramatic, wasn't it? Yeah. Shirley Sheraton was my pin-up girl and that. My favourite girl, yeah. That's how she stays in my mind, you see. So when I see her making the guest appearances in these TV shows, yeah. Oh, there's Shirley. She was in EastEnders for a while, wasn't she? She played the bank clerk, yeah. Married to, she was going with Andy, wasn't she? The Scotch guy, yeah. He was a male nurse. Play Tendo guy. The indicator sale starts tomorrow. Got any recommendations, Alan? I haven't had a chance yet, Pete, to have a look at the indicator sale. I'll have a look at that tonight, maybe tonight or tomorrow. Yeah. So, I always like to hear of any bargains and that, any sales. Yeah. So thanks for that. I'll check those out. Yeah. I like Indicator; they're a good label. But the only thing with them, they don't put a synopsis on the back of the when you get the Blu-ray and that, they don't tell you what the movie's about. So unless you're particularly knowledgeable about the movie, you've got no clue at all. But they do very nice sets and that. Yeah, I've got quite a few indicators, but that's my only gripe with them. They don't put a synopsis on the back of the case and that. But I'll definitely check that out. Thanks, Pete. David's saying, this channel makes me feel old now. Oh, you're as old as you feel. Oh, I don't know. Richard Brown, Sean Hudson's a Liverpool FC fan. I believe he is. Richard. Yeah, I read that a couple of years ago. He was a keen Liverpool FC fan. Yeah. Right. Yeah, one of the conservatives is a Liverpool. I was quite surprised, actually. One of the conservatives used to be the Home Secretary. He's a keen Liverpool fan, isn't he? The guy with the glasses. Yeah, forget his name. He used to be the Home Secretary. Yeah, he's an ardent supporter of Liverpool. All right, so yes, as I say, thanks again, guys, for turning up. Really enjoying it tonight. Yeah, some good discussions going on here. David Price, I picked up a Boris Karloff film yesterday off eBay called Black Sabbath. Have you seen it? It's great, that one. Yeah, it's a great one. That it's an anthology movie. Yeah, I love that one. I've got the Arrow edition of that. Black Sabbath. I tell you what I'm waiting for. Boris Karloff, starring Boris Karloff. One of his last films, I think, I'm not sure if it was his last film, Targets, where he plays this like a retired horror actor, and he's like in Hollywood, and I think this serial killer on the set or in the vicinity, and he sort of like crosses path. He crosses paths with Boris Karloff and that. Targets. It's a great movie. If any of you haven't seen it and it comes out on Blu-ray, I highly recommend that you pick it up. I'm certainly going to pick it up because I wanted to revisit that movie for years. So yeah, Targets. It's called. Starring Boris Karloff. It's a great movie. Yeah. Edward's saying, have you seen the movie Ghoul? Now, when you say Ghoul, is that the one with because Boris Karloff made one, didn't he? The Ghoul, and then there was another one with Peter Cushing in 1975, where he had this son in the attic and he was like deformed. Is that which one do you mean? Or is another one what you mean, Ed? Melanie is saying, has anyone seen the Autopsy of Jane Doe? A very creepy movie. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, it's good, that one, the Autopsy of Jane Doe. I'll have to get the Blu-ray of that. Yeah, my mum hated it though. Yeah, but I love it. Yeah, I think it's a great movie. Very creepy. David Price, yes, mine is on Arrow too. Yeah. Right, so getting back to Stephen King, guys. Have any of you guys read all of the Dark Tower books? As I said before, it's not that's one series of Stephen King's that I haven't been able to get into because it's more of a fantasy kind of story, isn't it? Yeah, I read The Gunslinger, the very first one, but after that, I didn't bother with the rest of the series and that. But I'd be very interested to know if any of you have read the whole Dark Tower series and what you thought of it. Yeah. But as I say, it wasn't for me, so. Chestnut F7 is saying, I was listening to Leslie Scobie, who played one of the kids in The Village of the Damned. She could have bought the blonde wig for £30 in 1960. Her parents said no. Oh, right. I like Village of the Damned. They got the HMV's got a special edition of that on Blu-ray. I've got the DVD, the double DVD set with the Children of the Damned. So let's upgrade to that. Yeah, so what did you guys think of the two Carrie movies? Did you like did you like the first one the best? Better than the remake, or did you like both? I liked the both of them. I thought they were both pretty good. Yeah. Sissy Spacek was good, wasn't she, in the first one? And then the girl that played it again in the second one, that was good. She was good as well. I like both Carrie movies. Awesome ending as well. Rock and Roll Hell, not a fan of the Village of the Damned remake, mind. Right, okay. Rock and Roll Hell, good cast, but that's all. Yeah. Melanie Griffiths saying, I like fantasy too, and I've been meaning to have a go at the Dark Tower series. Would everyone recommend? Right. My favorite fantasy book or fantasy series is the Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. And when I was a kid, I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's my all-time favorite kid story, that where they go through the wardrobe, don't they, into Narnia, and you've got Aslan and you've got the witch, and that. I love that story. Yeah, I've got the book there, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's my favorite one of the whole Narnia series, and that. Oh yeah, fantastic story. Yeah, read it many times. I was a huge fan of Enid Blyton as well when I was a kid, and that. I loved their books and that. Enid Blyton. I was always renting that out the library and that, or in school. Oh yeah, I loved Enid Blyton. I'm not a huge fan of science fiction, though. The only really science fiction movies I like are Alien, 1979 one, Ridley Scott one. Yeah, I like The Day of the Triffids, of the Body Snatchers. Yeah, the movie's got to be very good for me to enjoy it, and that. I'm not really a huge fan of science fiction, but as I say, it depends on the story, really. It's like westerns as well. I'm not a great I'm not a great lover of westerns, but I like Clint Eastwood's westerns and that, you know, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and that, and Unforgiven and movies like that. But you know, not really a huge fan of. I like some of John Wayne's westerns and that, but I'm not a huge, just like sci-fi. I'm not a huge fan of westerns. I think the modern westerns are absolutely atrocious. The modern westerns, struth. Right, Brian Gilson. I've heard the theory that Barlow was actually Pennywise as he appeared as a vampire in his It book, and his description says he looks, he looks like Barlow. I haven't heard that. So it's like morphing into one character. They say, don't they, the Dark Tower books, a lot of Stephen King's characters are in them, in the Dark Tower series now. And I can't comment because I haven't read them, but I have heard it said that a lot of the characters make an appearance in those books. David saying Peter Cushing did The Ghoul as well. Yeah, that's the one. From 1975 as well. Used to be on the TV with Legend of the Werewolf. Yeah, both movies need a Blu-ray release. Yeah, so if there's any representatives here, you know, from the Blu-ray companies, yeah, please do Blu-ray releases of these. Yeah, long overdue. Got both of them on bootleg DVDs. I've seen the original Carrie film, but not the remake. Yeah, as I say, I like both Carrie movies. Yeah. They've done a sequel, didn't they? Carrie 2. Carrie 2, it was a Carrie 2, The Revenge or The Vengeance. It was okay. It was nothing to write home about. Day of the Triffids print seemed washed out, no real colour to it every time I've seen it. That's why I haven't bought the original movie yet. I've heard a lot of the prints are crap, you know, so that's why I haven't really bothered, you know. But I'd love Arrow or Vinegar Syndrome or, you know, Indicator even do a good release of that. Day of the Triffids, because I'd certainly pick that up, yeah. And John Wyndham, he wrote the Midwich Cuckoos, didn't he? Which of course was the movie Children, Village of the Damned, really, Children of the Damned and so forth. Did any of you guys see the series The Midwich Cuckoos on the telly? What did you think of it? I've never seen it. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but I was just curious, like, any of you guys have seen it, The Midwich Cuckoos, or what you thought of it? Right. Rock and Roll Hell is saying, was that 1980s Triffids BBC one any good? The 1980s one. I think that was the one I had last year on Blu-ray. I wasn't too keen on that. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that at all. But he done another one as well, didn't he? Yeah, they done another TV series of the Triffids. Rob Gray, what do you think of Poltergeist? I'm not a fan. Never have been, never will be. Never seen it, so considering getting the new 4K, yeah, I'm not really a fan of that. It seems to be more of a fantasy movie than a horror. Yeah, not a fan of that one at all. David Price, I remember the series of the Triffids on the BBC. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a great fan of Poltergeist movies. Yeah. Just didn't do anything for me, you know. So, any of you guys seen the remake of Firestarter? If so, what did you think of it? As I said before, the original was okay, but I don't think I'll be, watching this new one. Yeah, it doesn't. From the trailers I've seen and that, it doesn't really appeal to me. So I think I'll pass on that one. I'm just trying to think of any more Stephen King movies. They'll say I didn't like the remake of Pet Sematary, like that. Wasn't too keen on the Lawnmower Man. That was another one I didn't like. And the Mangler. The Dark Half was okay. Yeah, we haven't discussed the Dark Half. Yeah, George Stark. That's like a kind of Tad Beaumont and George Stark. George Stark's his alter ego. That's not a bad story. The Dark Half. Yeah, I just sent off the paperback update for that. So if it's not here, it should be here tomorrow, if not Saturday. Yeah, not a bad story. The Dark Half, written about 1989. Yeah, it's a good one. That. Bag of Bones is okay. It's a bit of a slow burner. Yeah, and if you guys read Bag of Bones, I've seen the movie as well with Pierce Brosnan in. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. Yeah. Slow burner, but a good ghost story. Creepy part where all the magnets on the fridge are rearranged and that's quite creepy. Right, on some more comments, guys. David's asking me, have you seen The Witch? Film haven't seen. Firestarter. Yes, Alan. The Witch, I didn't like it. I watched that twice now, and I thought it was very, very slow. You know, that movie, that was the movie that it should have been more like Blood on Satan's Claw, very much in that vein of, you know, folk horror, witchcraft and that, in a rural English village and that. That should have been more like, it should have had those aspects, features of Blood on Satan's Claw. They should have been in The Witch. Very, very slow, boring movie. I did not like that at all, The Witch. But I say, yeah, Firestarter. I prefer the original one. You know, I think I'll be giving this new one a miss. Mel's saying, has anyone seen the Return to Salem's Lot movie? Saw it years ago and it wasn't very good. Yeah, I've seen it. It was a load of crap. Mel, I didn't like it. No, as I said before, that one that he made, One for the Road, that was great. That was only a short movie, about 25 minutes. We go to YouTube and tap it in, and it's a great little movie. And it should have been expanded in that. You know, and the vampire is really creepy. It really recaptures the ambience of the original Salem's Lot story. Oh, it's great. Yeah, you want to check it out. But yeah, I didn't care for that one. Return to Salem's Lot. Rock and Roll Hell. Mangler was gory fun until the final act. The hell was that's all about. Yeah. Rock and Roll Hell. Did Reginald come back for Salem's Lot 2? No. Gina says, I like the Mangler. Not really very close to the story, though. Right? Rock and Roll Hell. He was so damn mean in Mark of the Devil. Brilliant film. David says, thoughts on the Lost Boys. I don't like it. Don't like that at all. Tried to get into it. I watched it a couple of times, and each time, oh no, this isn't for me. This, yeah, I'm not a fan. But I know a lot of people like it, but I didn't like it. Yeah, maybe it was the aspect of the gang and that, you know, the that aspect of it and that, you know, yeah, I don't know what it was. It just didn't appeal to me, the Lost Boys. But I do know a lot of people like it. Yeah, so it was some more comments, guys. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Lost Boys. I'll tell you, like while we're on the subject of vampires, guys, I tell you the series I do not care for at all, and that is Twilight. And well, if you're familiar with me channel, you'll know why. Because the vampires are too bloody slushy and too romantic. I like my vampires to be like really demonic and scary, like the original Dracula, you know, in the Bram Stoker novel. I like my vampires to be really scary and creepy and monsters. I don't like all this teenage angst stuff. I'm not a fan. You know, I think that, you know, they've done a lot. Those type of series and movies, they've done a lot to destroy the vampire fear factor, if you like. I don't like all the slushiness and that, and, you know, as I said, teenage angst. You know, it's not for me in that, and it just dilutes the scare factor of a vampire. You know, I mean, even the old vampire movies were scarier than Twilight. You know, Bela Lugosi, John Carradine, you know, they were scarier than likes of Twilight. And that. Twilight's more like a fantasy love story to me, but I'm not a fan. Any of you guys, what do you guys think of Twilight? I'd be very interested to hear your comments. What do you think of slushy vampires? Do you agree with me that this trend for making vampires soft and slushy has destroyed the vampire scare factor? Yeah. You know, I'd love to hear what you think of it. You know, do you agree with me or disagree with me or what? I like my vampires scary. Chestnut 7, me neither, Alan. Yeah. Brian's saying, do you like the Monster Squad? I haven't seen that for years, Brian. I'm going to get that on Blu-ray. Yeah, that's where all the monsters come back, don't they, to help the kids out and that. I haven't seen it for years. Remember renting it out, or when I first got my VHS recorder many years ago. But I'll definitely have to revisit that, the Monster Squad. Rob Gray, are you a fan of Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland? It's a bit of a slow burner for me. I'm flogging the 4K on eBay at the moment. Yeah, a bit too slow. Although I did like the twist ending. Yeah, but it was a bit slow for me. Based on the Daphne du Maurier short story, isn't it? Yeah. Melanie Gibson saying, Rock and Roll Hell. No, Reginald didn't return. The return to Salem's Lot isn't really related to the original Sally. No, it isn't, Mel. It's not related. No, it was a pile of dung. It really was. I didn't like it at all. Chestnut 7 is saying that creepy little dwarf in the red coat. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thought it was the little girl. little girl come back from the dead, didn't he? You know, of course, Donald Sutherland's a bit cynical at first, isn't he? But then as the film goes on, he starts to wonder. But of course, he gets the shock of his bloody life, doesn't he, at the end? Right, Ward saying, good evening, Alan. You okay, Ward, mate? Thanks for dropping by. I think 1980 Stephen King movies are mostly masterpieces, yeah? The Shining, Salem's Lot, Christine, 1989 is, yeah. After that, he wasn't had many good adaptations. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I haven't really been impressed by the later adaptations, if I'm going to be bluntly honest. You know, I much prefer his earlier works, as you've just said. You know, The Shining, Salem's Lot, Christine. They were his masterpieces. I don't like it when he strays away from horror. I mean, I don't know what you guys have, but I don't like that when he, you know, like the likes of Billy Summers. I read a couple of chapters of Billy Summers and I thought, meh, you know, I don't like this at all, you know. And I wasn't too keen on The Institute as well. I couldn't get through that. And I know a lot of people like that. I didn't like it. As I say, Sleeping Beauty's the one he done with his son. Didn't like that. Yeah, there's been quite a few Stephen King books where I won't be, you know, adding to me, you know, collection and that. Only the classics, really, you know, the short stories and that, and the classics. But yeah, I haven't been very impressed by the later adaptations, and I know quite a few people would share my opinion on that. Rock and Roll Hell, not seen Mark of the Devil. It's a Michael Armstrong film about witchfinders Reggie Nolder and Udo Kier. And hey, I've seen that one. Yeah. There's that many movies, isn't it? With Mark, you know, Marks and Devils in and that. Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, there's a very, very, very gut wrenching scene in that involving a mouth, shall we say? I won't say any more about it, but it's a very torturous scene to watch. Very, very hard to watch scene in that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen Mark of the Devil. Yeah. Herbert Lom's a swiner, isn't he? He's a real ruthless bee. He really is. Yeah. He's even worse than Matthew Hopkins in the Witchfinder General. Oh, he's an absolute bee. He really is. Yeah. I've seen Mark of the Devil. But as I say, that scene and that involving the mouth and that. Yeah, but I won't go into too much detail. If you haven't seen it, guys, I'm warning you, you will be in for a shock. Right. Gina's saying, can't stand Twilight. You're right. Vampires should be scary. Yeah, they should be scary. And if there's any movie producers watching, make your bloody vampires scary. Stop filming with bloody slushy romantic rubbish. Oh, I don't know how many times I've said this. Vampires should be scary with a capital S. When I pick up a vampire novel or when I sit down to watch a vampire movie, I do not want to see slushy teenage angst rubbish. I want to see me vampires scary, like Barlow and Salem's Lot, like Christopher Lee and Dracula, like Count Yorga and the Count Yorga movies. I want me vampires scary. No slushy rubbish, please. There's a time and a place for that in the Mills and Boons type of movies. Right, moving on. Ward saying Twilight was, as we say in Glasgow, bars. I haven't heard that one before. Bars. I can think of an even more explicit word, but I'm not going to say it. Right. David is saying the Vampire Diaries, laughs out loud. Some episodes of Supernatural are quite good. Yeah, all right. It's okay, Supernatural. A couple of turkeys, like I must admit. But yeah, there was some good episodes. Linda Blair was in one, wasn't she? In one of the Supernatural series. Yeah, she was guest starred in it. Yeah. By the way, while on the subject of Linda Blair, any of you have seen that movie, Hell Night, she was in? Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews about that. Yeah, some people like it, some people hate it. Hell Night, yeah. I'd be very interested, you know, if any of you guys have seen it, what you thought of it. Right. Ward saying From Dusk Till Dawn treats vampires correctly. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Is that the Western one where they're in the Wild West? Brian's saying, I agree. Ward Rutherford. Yeah. Rock and Roll Hell says, will 30 Days of Night be considered a vampire film? It's a great one, that. I love the snowy setting. It's a great one, that. 30 Days of Night. I've got that one in my collection. I didn't like the sequel, though. But boy, the vampires were really malevolent and that, really ferocious and that, as vampires should be. I've said it many, many times. I'm going to say it again. Keep vampires, scary. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, as I say, I'm a suckler for snowy settings and that. You know, I love me horror movies. Well, any movie really set in snow. You know, because I'm very much a winter person. I hate hot weather in summer. You know, as you probably gathered if you're watching me videos, I'm more of a winter person, and I love snowy settings in my horror movies, especially The Shining. You know, and The Children. Yeah, fantastic. Right, Mel says, if you like scary vampires, 30 Days of Night is good. It's a great one, that, Mel. Yeah, I love 30 Days of Night. Fantastic movie. Tell you what's a good one as well. Crucible of the Vampire. That's a great one. I've spoke about it a couple of times on my channel. I've got the poster there, what the producer sent me. There it is, there, Crucible of the Vampire. Yeah, if you haven't seen that movie, I'd highly recommend you check it out. If you like Hammer films and that, a good British Hammer, you know, like a reminiscence of the British vampire Hammer movies and that. I think you will enjoy that one, Crucible of the Vampire. It's a great movie, and they're a lovely team as well who made that movie and that. You know, I've spoken to the producer many times and that, and oh yeah, definitely check out that one, Crucible of the Vampire. It's a great little vampire movie. Richard Brown, did you like 30 Days of Night? Yeah, as I just said, great one. Love the snowy setting. Rob says, do you like Mel Brooks's Dracula and Frankenstein spoof films, Dead and Loving It and Young Frankenstein? I like Young Frankenstein. In regards to Dead and Loving It, that's the one with Leslie Nielsen, and isn't it? I haven't seen that for years. I do remember liking it though, but it's just been released on Blu-ray, so I might get the Blu-ray. Might treat myself for Crimbo. Yeah, I like providing a spoof horror's done well. Yeah, I'll keep it in my collection. But if I don't like it, I think it's done badly, I'll let it go. You've got say it's very difficult to make. It's very difficult to get the balance right between horror and comedy. You know, sometimes it works, and most of the time it doesn't. You know, so it's very, very, very difficult. You know, sort of like aspect of the genre. You know, to pull off like. Gina says, sorry, I'm very late to the live stream. It's okay, Gina. Have you discussed Rose Red or The Storm of the Century? I like those later films. Yeah. A couple of people touched on Storm of the Century. Well, there was one guy touched on Storm of the Century before. I brought up Rose Red. Yeah, so both of those topics have been discussed. But if you want to expand on them further, your thoughts on them, please feel free to do so. Because I'm going to be here till another quarter of an hour, and then I'll sign off then. But I really enjoyed it. I really have. You know, thanks for turning up, guys. Gene is saying also enjoyed Silver Bullet. Yeah, great little werewolf movie. Brian Gilson, one of my favorites. Gina, yeah. Brian says John Carpenter Vampires is really good. Yeah, years since I've seen that one though. I'll have to revisit that. Rock and Roll Hell. Vinegar Syndrome put out a cool vampire film called Pale Blood from the early 90s. That had a great atmosphere. I haven't seen that one. Tell you what I'd like to get around to watching. Innocent Blood. I believe that's on the HMV Premium label. Yeah, it's made by the guy who done is it John Landis, American Werewolf in London. I'll have to check that one out. I had a look at my local HMV. They didn't have it in, so it might have to get it online. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. British Vampire. Brian says, I really enjoyed Hell Night. I recommend this. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, Hell Night, Linda Blair. Yeah. Right. Just bear with me, guys. Just Richard's saying, what about Race with the Devil? Is that the one with William Shatner in? And Ernest Borgnine. Yes, not a bad movie, that. Yeah. They encounter a group of Satanists, don't they, on the road? Yeah. Saw that on the telly many, many years ago. But I do believe there's a Blu-ray available of that now. David says, I'm off now, Alan. Enjoyed the chats with you and all the other horror fans. Oh, thanks very much, mate. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Yeah, cheers. Thanks for dropping by. I'll drop you a message on your other media, mate. I will be popping into the HMV store tomorrow too. Oh, yeah, all right, David. Yeah, well, I hope you managed to pick up some good movies in HMV. And nice talking to you there, David. Yeah, and yeah, please do drop me a line on Facebook and that. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, have a nice weekend anyway, mate. Gina's saying to Brian Gilson, yes, the scene on the bridge with the fireworks during Silver Bullet is very scary. Yeah. Right. Walk on, always believe. Boo. Sorry if I made you jump. Haha. What Stephen King film would you say? Yeah, good job I never heard it. What Stephen King film would you say you've seen the most, and what Stephen King book would you say you've read the most, and roughly how? Oh, I don't know how many times. I can't say that. Loads of times I've read Salem's Lot and Misery. Salem's Lot, Misery, and The Shining. I think we most read Stephen King books, and Pet Sematary. Yeah, can't tell you how many times I've read them. You know, too many times to mention. Don't think it's 100 though. Right, yeah. So, what Stephen King film would you say you've seen the most? Well, The Shining again. The Shining, Misery, Salem's Lot. My favourites and that. You know, yeah. Seen Carrie a few times as well. Melanie Gibson, really enjoyed chatting tonight, everyone. Going to head to bed. Are you on next Thursday? Yeah, well, I hope to be, Mel. So yeah, so I don't know what the theme's going to be yet. I haven't decided yet. But thanks very much for turning up. I've really enjoyed chatting to you, and have a nice weekend. And if you do any Blu-ray hunting or DVD hunting, I hope you manage to pick up some bargains. Yeah, yeah. Cheers, Mel. Right. Graham says The Fearless Vampire Hunters is very good spoof. Oh yeah, definitely. Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski. That is one of my all-time favorite spoof vampire movies. I love that movie. Yeah, also known as Pardon Me, but Your Teeth Are in My Neck. I love that movie. I love everything about it. And I thought the Dracula character was quite scary. The guy who was the leader, he was quite scary, wasn't he? Yeah. Oh, some really great scenes and that. At the bumbling duo going to rescue Sharon Tate from the castle. I love that one. The Fearless and also known as Dance of the Vampires. Yeah, I hope to do a full-length review of that soon because I'm going to watch it. Maybe hoping in the next couple of weeks. And I've got the Blu-ray. I got a new Blu-ray of that. So I'll hope to do a full review of that. I love that movie. Love that movie. Right. Rob says, I recently tried Fearless Vampire Killers, but didn't get on with it. Looks fantastic like a Hammer film, but thought Polanski's acting was terrible. Oh, nice. And the humour seemed to miss the mark for me. Oh, yeah, well, everybody's got their own opinion, haven't they, Rob? I loved it, as I just said. Brian says to Gina Walpole, I agree, the dream sequence is creepy too. Yep. Walk on, always believe. If you had a film you didn't like, but if it had a documentary on the special features, if you loved the documentary, would you keep it for the documentary or wouldn't you because of the film? I most probably, yeah, if I did like the film, I most probably let it go. Because what's the point of keeping the documentary about a film you don't like? Yeah, so I think I'd let it go. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like to be a good movie and a good documentary to boost. Yeah, so yeah, I think I'd let that go. Yeah. I believe Arrow are going to release a big box set of the Grudge movies, but not the American ones, the original Japanese ones. It looks good. I've had a look at it on online, and it looks fantastic. Yeah, I've already got them on DVD, but I might get it for Christmas. Yeah. The only thing is they haven't included the American ones. That would have been awesome if you've included the American Grudge as well as the other ones and that. You know, yeah. So yeah, it looks good. The original Japanese ones, yeah, all in a massive box set. Arrow, I love Arrow. Walk on, always believe. Do you mind if I sneak in another vampire question out? No, feel free. Fire away. Richard Brown said, I prefer the title Dance with the Vampires. The film is superb. Yeah, it's a great movie. I love it. I've always loved it. I've always loved Sharon Tate as well. Yeah, another good horror movie of hers. I've spoke about it many times. Eye of the Devil. That's a great one. It's in black and white, I grant you, but it's a great one, that Eye of the Devil. Very black magic oriented. David Niven, Deborah Carr, David Hemmings, a fantastic movie. Yeah, check out Eye of the Devil from 1965. It's a great movie. Based on a novel as well, which I've got. Brian Gilson is saying, do you like the vampire film Near Dark? Do you know what? It's years since I saw that. I think I rented it out from the video shop, local video shop. Don't remember too much about it. I'll have to revisit that one. Right. Chestnut 77. Right, I'm going to be on for a couple more minutes, guys. So if you've got any questions, just get them in. I'll try to go through, go through them all as swiftly as I can. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, but I say I really enjoyed it tonight. You know, some great questions and that, some great discussions and that, and anything relating to Stephen King, I'm all ears and that. You know, always interested in any aspect of Stephen King. You know, be it his books, be it his movies, anything at all. Yeah, right. Walk on, always believe. Thank you. In a Dracula film, is a Dracula the only vampire there is? For e.g., is Dracula the character in its own universe, like in Dracula? Do you think they'd know who Van Helsing is? I'm not sure what you mean there. In a Dracula film, is a Dracula the only vampire there is? Well, you've got his brides, haven't you? So it's not just Dracula. You'll have like his usually in the castle. He has about 3 women in the castle, doesn't he? Vampire brides. For example, is Dracula the character in its own universe? Like in Dracula, do you think they'd know who Van Helsing is? Well, if it's about Dracula, you're going to get Van Helsing character, so people would know who he, you know, he's Dracula's arch nemesis, isn't he? So I think like if the way I interpret it, if you're thinking like watching a Dracula film, would they know? You know who Van Helsing was? I think they would, yeah. If they're familiar with Dracula, because if you don't know anything about Dracula, I think they'd be scratching their heads and bemusements. Walk on, always believe. I had the Blu-ray arrived yesterday. Susan George and Bryce. That's a great one. That I love Bryce. Yeah, she's a babysitter. Yeah, Dennis Waterman's in it as well. That's a great one. That Bryce, fantastic movie from the 70s. Yeah, and you'll enjoy that one, Bryce. I like Susan George and Straw Dogs as well. That's a great one with Dustin Hoffman. So I'm going to be signing off for a couple of minutes, guys. So as I say, I'll try to get through as many questions as I can. And so, yeah, thanks again for turning up. Rob is saying, are you keen on Carry On Screaming? That's my favourite Carry On movie. One of my favourite horror comedies. Frying Tonight. Never forget that. Never forget that scene, Frying Tonight. Yeah, I love Carry On Screaming. I'm going to do a review of that in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah. My favorite Carry On movie. I know some people might think they're a bit dated now, but I always like watching them and that. You know, they're good fun. Not to be taken too seriously. I mean, I don't agree with all the stupid political correctness now, taking lines out, and I think that's bloody pathetic. That I think they're going a bit overboard, guys, with all this bloody stupid. But I don't want to rant on too much, but it infuriates me. They're cutting lines out of Gone with the Wind. They're cutting lines out of Carry Ons. What will it be next? We're cutting lines out of bloody TV series we watch now and that, Harmless Kids series and that. It's bloody stupid, I think. They're going way over the top with all this stupid, you know. Haven't you got anything better to do than sitting on the big fat backsides and wondering, oh, what can we ban next? I know, we'll take a line out of Carry On Sergeants. It's bloody stupid. Bloody stupid it is. I could go on about that bloody political correctness till I'm blue in the face. It infuriates me. When you think they'd have better things to do with their bloody time than cut lines or mess around with, you know, traditions, what we've loved for years and that, you know, mess around. They try to do it in Blyton stories as well, take out words and that, but once the book sales went down, they had to change the tune and put the original, as Enid Blyton wrote them, they had to put the original text back in. So yeah, I think they should leave our books and movies alone. They're not doing any harm in that. You know, people didn't think anything of that, and you don't think, you know, if you're a sensible, normal human being, you wouldn't think anything of it now. You wouldn't find them offensive. Yeah, but I'll leave it there. I don't want to rant on too much because once you get me going on that, you won't be able to stop me. But it's bloody stupid, all this bloody banning innocent lines from harmless movies. Straw Dogs, good film, yeah. Brian, one of my favourite Hammer films is Twins of Evil. Love that one, yeah. Just speeding through the comments, guys, to get as many as I can before I sign off in a couple of minutes. Yeah, Gina, Carry On Screaming is great. My favourite Carry On, yeah. Chestnut 7, love the Carry Ons, yeah. Hopefully he might bring out a Blu-ray box set. The Fright Blu-ray, I'm surprised Dennis Waterman isn't mentioned at the bottom of the back of the film with the cast and director. I know, yeah, he was good in that, Dennis Waterman. Good actor, sadly missed. Loved him in Minded and Sweeney. Gina, yes, I agree, Alan. I hate political correctness. Yeah, well, most sensible human beings do. Gina, it's bloody stupid what they're doing now. And now they're changing the bloody quality street now. The chocolate, have you seen that? They're bloody doing away with the bloody glossy, colourful wrappers and putting bloody drab, bloody cardboard things. You know, that's bloody stupid. It really is. you know, oh, don't know what they're thinking, these bosses and that. Chestnut 7, I'm with you, Alan, on the banning stuff. Yeah, it's bloody stupid, isn't it? It really is. You know, it infuriates me. You know, it really, people need to stand up about this. Now, even these MPs, they need to start saying paranormal things and that. I thought that was bloody stupid. We're going with the wind, banning that. You know, banning like cutting things out of that and putting bloody warnings. This may be offensive. Bloody hell, people didn't think anything of that when you watched it and that. And if you're a normal, sensible human being, you won't think anything offensive now. It's bloody stupid. It really is. Oh, yeah. I say, once you get me going on that, you can't stop me. Walk on, always believe. I highly recommend Eat Locals, Alan. It's a British horror comedy with Annette Crosby. Yeah, I had to check that one out. Eat Locals, a vampire horror comedy. Yeah. Brian, Eat Locals is really good. Yeah. Rob Gray, what's the idea with changing the Quality Street rappers in terms of, it's bloody stupid. Oh, eco-friendly it is. Yeah, I think it's like political correctness, but they call it eco. Something to do with the environment and that. But bloody hell, we've had those bloody coloured wrappers for bloody years. It's bloody. I don't like the way they're taking the milk out the chocolates as well. Oh, that's another thing I hate. I noticed a lot of the chocolate bars, they're not as nice as they used to be. They taste crap. I mean, I could use a stronger word, but I won't. But you know, they're messing around with our food. What they're doing, they think people don't know, but we bloody do know. We know. I noticed the difference. My mum noticed the difference. Other people notice the difference. Leave our bloody food alone. If any of you are watching, who's in charge of these food companies, bloody cuss it out, will you? Please leave our food alone and stop all this bloody stupid, bloody banning harmless lines and harmless comedy movies, for God's sake. Right, moving on. I get annoyed that British films get cut and most. Yeah, I know. Most places are uncut. It's bloody stupid, isn't it? These ones, you know what? These ones are sitting on the big fat backsides in these places like the sort of like got some sort of authority over movies and that. They need to get a bloody life and start cut. They want to bloody ban things that people care about. What about all the bloody knife crime and that? They want to start getting tough with that, you know, and ban these bloody fireworks as well and that. You know, it's bloody stupid. It is. Oh, they just got all the priorities wrong, guys. It angers me. Right. I totally agree, Alan, on the political correctness. That's why I'm glad to have all the older films and shows on Blu-ray. Yeah, a bloody big raspberry to all these bloody ones that want to ban our pleasure. Just bloody big raspberry. Sorry about that. Couldn't resist that. Food gets smaller, but prices go up. Yes, chocolate isn't as nice as it used to be. No, it's crap. Absolute crap. To say, I could use a stronger word, but I won't say. Don't swear on this channel. Right then, guys, I'm going to sign off now. Well, thanks very much again. You know, and I hope that little rant at the end didn't sort of like take you back too much, but it's just something I feel strongly about. And I just had to say, I might even do a video one day, the top 20 things that annoy me about modern day living and that. But yeah, getting back to Stephen King and getting back to the general theme of the live tonight. Yeah, thanks very much again, guys. I really enjoyed it. And, you know, I hope if you're going to buy some Stephen King books or movies, hope you buy some good ones and that. Fantastic author, as I say. And, you know, he's one of the best, you know, he really is. Yeah. And if over the weekend, if you're going to be doing some Blu-ray hunting, DVD hunting, I hope you to pick up some, you know, pick up some bargains and that. Yeah, so I've enjoyed it. Yeah, thanks again, guys. Yeah, it's been nice chatting to you all, and all going well. I'll be back again next Thursday night with another live stream. I don't know what the theme's going to be, but yeah, so I'll sort that out all that over the weekend. Yeah, all right then, guys. So sweet dreams. Thanks again for turning up, and I'll talk to you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.